rounding up the, yeah. Rounding up the book to read, I gotta get them all looking overseas, and you know it, and you know it, yeah. Reading through the law to see, I gotta dot the I's, even cross the T's, and you know it, and you know it. Praying to the Lord, have mercy, mercy. Show me where you wanna go first, you know. While I'm teaching to the people that's thirsty, searching for the truth that's hidden, you know. Speak through the mouth from my lips when I'm. Show me where you wanna go next, you know. Right away. If you lost and you don't know where the truth at, looking all around but you don't know where to go. Well, we gon' show you the way. Okay, let me read the line. Line it up, standing back to back, taking 9 times. Doctrine killer, hater stepping back. Captain Joel from the book. Yeah, the prophet's back. Officer Ahim. Yeah, that's Pepper Black. Officer LaCroix. Yeah, from way back. Minister of knowledge. Officer, just remember that. We gon' search the whole world. Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, 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 oh. Tell them you know. Tell them you know, oh yeah. Rounding up the book to read, I gotta get them all looking overseas, and you know it, and you know it, yeah. Rounding up the, rounding up the, rounding up the, rounding up the, yeah. Rounding up the book to read, I gotta get them all looking overseas, and you know it, and you know it, yeah. Reading through the law to see, I gotta dot the I's, even cross the T's, and you know it, and you know it. Praying to the Lord, have mercy, mercy. Show me where you wanna go first, you know. Oh yeah. While I'm teaching to the people that's thirsty, searching for the truth that's hidden, you know. Oh yeah. Speak through the mouth from my lips when I'm. Show me where you wanna go next, you know. Right away. If you lost and you don't know where the truth at, looking all around but you don't know where to go. Well, we gon' show you the way. Okay, let me read the line. Line it up, standing back to back, taking 9 times. Doctrine killer, hater stepping back. Captain Joel from the book. Yeah, the prophet's back. Officer Ahim. Yeah, that's Pepper Black. Officer LaCroix. Yeah, from way back. Minister of knowledge. Officer, just remember that. We gon' search the whole world. Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, 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 oh. Tell them you know. Oh yeah, yeah. Just tell them you know. Oh yeah. Rounding up the book to read, I gotta get them all looking overseas, and you know it. Rounding up the, rounding up the, rounding up the, rounding up the, yeah. Rounding up the book to read, I gotta get them all looking overseas, and you know it, and you know it, yeah. Reading through the law to see, I gotta dot the I's, even cross the T's, and you know it, and you know it. Praying to the Lord, have mercy. Show me where you wanna go first, you know. Oh yeah. While I'm teaching to the people that's thirsty, searching for the truth that's hidden, you know. Oh yeah. Speak through the mouth from my lips when I'm. Show me where you wanna go next, you know. Right away. If you lost and you don't know where the truth at, looking all around but you don't know where to go. Well, we gon' show you the way. Okay, let me read the line. Line it up, standing back to back, kicking 9 times. Doctrine killer, hater stepping back. Captain Joel from the book. Yeah, the prophet's back. Officer Ahim. Yeah, that's Pepper Black. Officer LaCroix. Yeah, from way back. Minister of knowledge. Officer, just remember that. We gon' search the whole world. Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, 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 oh. Tell them you know. Oh yeah, yeah. Just tell them you know. Oh yeah. Rounding up the book to read, I gotta get them all looking overseas, and you know it. Rounding up the, yeah. Rounding up the book to read, I gotta get them all looking overseas, and you know it, yeah. Reading through the law to see, I gotta dot the I's, even cross the T's, and you know it, Praying to the Lord, have mercy. Show me where you wanna go first, you know. Oh yeah. While I'm teaching to the people that's thirsty, searching for the truth that's hidden, you know. Oh yeah. Speak through the mouth from my lips when I'm. Show me where you wanna go next, you know. Right away. If you lost and you don't know where the truth at, looking all around but you don't know where to go. Well, we gon' show you the way. Okay, let me read the line. Line it up, standing back to back, kicking 9 times. Doctrine killer, hater stepping back. Captain Joel from the book. Yeah, the prophet's back. Officer Ahim. Yeah, that's Pepper Black. Officer LaCroix. Yeah, from way back. Minister of knowledge. Officer, just remember that. We gon' search the whole world. Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, 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 oh. Tell them you know. Oh yeah, yeah. Just tell them you know. Oh yeah. Rounding up the book to read, I gotta get them all looking overseas, and you know it. Rounding up the, yeah. Rounding up the book to read, I gotta get them all looking overseas, and you know it, yeah. Reading through the law to see, I gotta dot the I's, even cross the T's, and you know it. Praying to the Lord, have mercy. Show me where you wanna go first, you know. Oh yeah. While I'm teaching to the people that's thirsty, searching for the truth that's hidden, you know. Oh yeah. Speak through the mouth from my lips when I'm. Show me where you wanna go next, you know. Right. lost and you don't know where the truth at. Looking all around but you don't know where to go. Well, we gon' show you the way. Okay, let me read the line. Line it up, standing back to back. Deacon 9 times, doctrine killer, hater stepping back. Captain Joel from the book, yeah, the prophet's back. Officer Ahim, yeah, that's Pepper Black. Officer LaCroix, yeah, from way back. Minister of knowledge, officer, just remember that. We gon' search the whole world, oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 oh, 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 oh. Tell them you know. Oh yeah, yeah. Just tell them you know. Oh yeah. Rounding up the book to read, I gotta get them all looking overseas, and you know it. Rounding up the, yeah. Rounding up the book to read, I gotta get them all looking overseas, and you know it, yeah. Reading through the law to see, I gotta dot the I's, even cross the T's, and you know it, Praying to the Lord, have mercy. Show me where you wanna go first, you know. Oh yeah. While I'm teaching to the people that's thirsty, searching for the truth that's hidden, you know. Oh yeah. Speak through the mouth from my lips when I'm. Show me where you wanna go next, you know. Right away. If you lost and you don't know where the truth at, looking all around but you don't know where to go. Well, we gon' show you the way. Okay, let me read the line. Line it up, standing back to back. Deacon 9 times, doctrine killer, hater stepping back. Captain Joel from the book, yeah, the prophet's back. Officer Ahim, yeah, that's Pepper Black. Officer LaCroix, yeah, from way back. Minister of knowledge, officer, just remember that. We gon' search the whole world, oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 oh, 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 oh. Tell them you know, oh yeah, yeah, just tell them you know, oh Rounding up the book to read, I gotta get them all looking overseas, and you know it, yeah. Rounding up the, yeah. Rounding up the book to read, I gotta get them all looking overseas, and you know it, yeah. Reading through the law to see, I gotta dot the I's, even cross the T's, and you know it, Praying to the Lord, have mercy. Show me where you wanna go first, you know. Oh yeah. While I'm teaching to the people that's thirsty, searching for the truth that's hidden, you know. Oh yeah. Speak through the mouth from my lips when I'm. Show me where you wanna go next, you know. Right away. If you lost and you don't know where the truth at, looking all around but you don't know where to go. Well, we gon' show you the way. Okay, let me read the line. Line it up, standing back to back. Deacon 9 times, doctrine killer, hater stepping back. Captain Joel from the book, yeah, the prophet's back. Officer Ahim, yeah, that's Pepper Black. Officer LaCroix, yeah, from way back. Minister of knowledge, officer, just remember that. We we gon' search the whole world. Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, 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 oh. Tell them you know. Oh yeah, yeah. Just tell them you know. Rounding up the book to read, I gotta get them all looking overseas, and you know it, and you know it, yeah. Rounding up the, searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, 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 yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Enemies are teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Do you know it? History, yeah. Do you know it? Do you know?
Hey, shalom, shalom. Welcome back to our Hidden History Radio. I'm Deacon.
My name is Captain Joel.
Officer LaQuark.
Officer Jezreel. Officer Adon.
We're back. It's been a while.
History.
Oh, God. Still trying to pitch that.
All praises, Cap.
It's been a while, yo.
Still trying to pitch that. Doesn't sound good. Doesn't sound good, man. Every time you say it, it still sounds bad.
We gotta come up with something.
We'll think of something, but
Yeah, we're gonna put something
that's
together.
definitely not gonna be it.
Our Hidden History Show. You know what I'm saying, Jess, you like that?
Cat, I ain't really vibing with that. Like I said, we gonna put something together.
we got to brainstorm. That was horrible. Anyways.
This is straight out of the COVID-19 record.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I see.
Levi throwing shots out there. Word.
Bring death into the room. Hey, we're back. So we are on episode, is this 15?
Yes, sir.
Chapter 15. We are now officially into King Arthur. It's been a long time awaiting. That's right. So I want to backtrack a little because I left some things out last week. Thanks to IT team. I appreciate you for not helping me put the video I wanted to put out last week or 2 weeks ago. Anyway, it's all right.
Who was it specifically, Deacon? So we can shout him out.
No, I don't want to do that because you're gonna curse him out for half an hour.
So we just name everybody.
Was it, wait,
I just said
was
the
it
IT team.
Icon Pete?
They all suffer. Yeah, it's
Was
him.
it Icon Pete?
Primarily, yeah, but they all suffer together.
Icon, a.k.a. Sesame Street.
No, y'all ain't right, man. Y'all ain't right, man. Anyways, I want to open up with. I remember 2 weeks ago, I had made mention of how the Carthaginians or the Numidians were expert archers. I brought that book out, and I want to show you a movie clip and how also Alpha Saim had brought out a good point about how whitewashing and how they use imagery in movies. So I want to show y'all. This is Rome celebrating their conquering of Carthage. All right, so let's watch real quick. Some of a short clip.
Of the barbarian Hannibal.
Stop, pause. So the barbarian, rewind it again. So he mentions the barbarian Hannibal. The barbarian Hannibal. All right? Remember the Berbers brings barbarian, the Barbary states, the Maghreb, it's all the same thing. The Moor, Mauritania, same thing. Go ahead, go back. Do it again.
Of the barbarian Hannibal. Ferocious mercenaries and warriors from all brute nations bent on merciless
That's Commodus there. Go ahead.
destruction, conquest. Your emperor
Gladiators.
is pleased to give you the barbarian horde.
Pause. So they're reenacting the barbarian horde. That's Hannibal's and his men. They were mercenaries. Okay, and this represents, they're basically reenacting the war between the Romans and the Carthaginians. So this is the barbarian horde or us, pretty much us. So watch this. Play.
Anyone here been in the army? Yes. I served with the Vindavana. You can help me. Whatever comes out of these gates, We've got a better chance of survival if we work together. You understand?
Watch. That's Juba there,
Stay
Juba.
together, we survive.
Pleased to bring you the Legionnaires of Scipio Africanus!
Pause. The Legionnaires of Scipio Africanus. That's the one that conquered Hannibal. So they're reenacting the war between Scipio Africanus and Hannibal Barca. Watch. See them on horseback? And they have blades on the wheels. Watch, watch. Watch who's playing the cart. Go on. Go, keep going, keep going, keep going. Watch. Watch. Pause. Go back to the woman. Go back. It's a woman in the back. Go back. She's playing the Carthaginians. Go back a little bit. Let's play again. Pause. Oh, it's too fast. But there's a woman on there. There's a Jake woman on there as the archer. She's a Carthaginian. One black woman. Just one. Both of them should be black on that horse. But they're only showing one. They made sure, okay, we're going to have Carthaginians on here. We're going to have one woman archer on there. Go ahead. See? See her there? Now, there should be two black folks there. I'm not sure what he is. What? You can't see him. He look white. But anyway, the woman on the back, that's what we Carthaginians. She's an archer because they were expert archers. So they put this in movies. They put this in the movie. This is in the movie Gladiator, featuring Russell Crowe. All right, but they're reenacting the war between the. So basically, the gladiators are basically like the entertainment in between the reenactment. All right, between the Romans and the Carthaginian battle, and we lost. So that they show that sister there. She's a Carthaginian. They made certain, but that's why they had Jumon Hansuo as a Numidian. He's also of Carthage as well. He's black in there also. They did little tidbits. This movie is loosely based upon Septimius Severus, Septimius Severus, who's from the same place as Hannibal and them were from. Because they have Commodus in here, Emperor Commodus, and his father was Marcus Aurelius, of whom Septimius Severus named his sons after. His name was Caracallus, Marcus Aurelius, something like that. They were evil as hell. Septimius was a straight Negro, and his sons are just as bad as he was. They were terrible black people, terrible. So we give respect in terms of our history, but I'm not gonna sit up here and sugarcoat like they were righteous. They were wicked as hell. We were evil. We took over the Roman Empire and we became Romans. We took on pretty much the behavior of our oppressor, like last night's class, the black bourgeoisie. Right. That was your Septimius, the Emperor Justinian, your Constantine, his sons. Who else? Diocletian. A few of them.
From Numidia, the king from Numidia.
Massinissa, that nigga, that dude is the worst too. Massinissa, it goes, but he wasn't a Roman emperor. But it goes on and on and on. All right? Constantine, St. Helena, his mother, they were all coons. It was the worst. King Henry VIII, he was horrible.
And Deacon.
Ivan the Terrible.
We wonder why, like I said, we have a great history and great forefathers in terms of the acts they did, the military exploits that they carried out.
Right.
But notice how none of them made it in the Bible.
Right.
Spartacus, Hannibal, they didn't make it. They didn't make the cut.
Hannibal did, but it's not by name.
By name. What I'm saying is like you have forefathers like Maccabees, David.
Right.
These were righteous men. So there's a difference.
Right.
We have a fulfilled history, but only certain men that honored God made the Bible.
Right. Exactly.
But we had other forefathers like David and them, like Maccabees and them.
Yes.
Spartacus was like Maccabees and them. The difference is they kept the commandments.
Right.
And the angels helped us out.
Right. Likewise, the Spartans are mentioned by name, but again, Leonidas is not mentioned by name. Leonidas isn't mentioned by name as well because they weren't fighting against the enemy in righteousness. They were fighting against the enemy in covetousness. Even the zealots. You hear the word zealot, I think, one time in the Bible. Them dudes is evil as hell. The Messiah said, flee. And these guys is like, nah, we're going to fight. They didn't work. You know, to follow instructions. Israel want to do their own thing. We're going to fight Rome. Nope. Short-lived. So now, what else I want to get? So that goes into Officer Haim was saying a couple of weeks ago about how they whitewash history, how they show white folks portraying us in their movies, and they'll occasionally sprinkle some Negro up in there. Like in this instance here with the sister right here, and this, whatever the hell this guy is, or no, he's Esau, whatever he is, riding a horse, all right, representing Carthage. All right, so now I want to go to, real quick, let's go back to the Jewish Encyclopedia. I want volume 2, page 453. I'm going to preface this information with this. Became here along. As I always, some of y'all mentioned, the Anglo-Saxons is Northern Kingdom, not just Northern Kingdom. It wasn't just Northern Kingdom in Europe. Southern was there as well. I gotta emphasize that because some of y'all think it's just all Northern Kingdom that was involved in this history with King Arthur and so forth, and the Anglo-Saxons, and it wasn't just them there. So, page 453, we're gonna read according to most accounts. When it says Israeli, it's referring to Israelites. Israeli is a slick term for them trying to make it white folks. Israelites is what it's referring to. Go ahead.
Legends of Semitic migrations into the Maghreb, North Africa.
The Maghreb goes back to where Hannibal was from. That's Mauritania, that's Tunisia, Tunisia, Libya, that whole area in which the Carthaginians took over and dominated is the Maghreb. The Maghreb now because the Arabs took it over. We're gonna get into the Mauritania thing a little later on in the series as we get toward the Moors and leave after King Arthur. Go ahead.
According to most accounts, the earliest Israeli settlements in Africa were in places such as Egypt, Tunisia,
Carthage,
and Ethiopia. Historians believe these settlements may have been in existence as early as the kingdoms of David and Solomon.
So Israel already had migrated to these areas during the time of King David and Solomon. Not just these areas, but other areas as well. Go ahead.
As well as during the Assyrian invasion of northern Israel.
So Northern Kingdom fled as well during the Assyrian invasion. Go ahead.
In 722 BCE. And the Babylonian captivity of Judah in 586 BCE. And the Punic Carthaginian age.
Yeah, so Israel fled into these areas during the Assyrian, which is Northern Kingdom invasion, and the Babylonian invasion, which was Judah. They both migrated into areas of North Africa, and they also migrated further up. And they also found themselves in Egypt, they found themselves in Carthage, and they found themselves in Ethiopia. The original inhabitants of Tunisia or Carthage, from the time its beginning stages, was Northern Kingdom, but Judah got there too. So don't think that Hannibal was just Northern Kingdom. Judah was up in there too. They were up in there. All right. And then we got further into Spain. Judah and Ephraim both together, but migrated to these areas. They also were merchants. Remember I showed you that before about Tyre, how they were the Walmart or the Amazon of ancient times, and Israel were the employees and merchants of their merchandise. Israel established themselves in different areas of the Mediterranean. Okay, as well as the Indian Ocean, Pacific Ocean, and Atlantic Ocean. Israel was scattered into all these areas. I'm going to show you that today. I'm going to prove it. But there's a reason why I'm emphasizing on Assyrian captivity and the Babylonian captivity. Read on.
These communities were augmented by subsequent arrivals of Jews after the destruction of the Second Jerusalem Temple.
Right, so these communities that were established from the time of King David, Solomon, to Hannibal's time were eventually increased or augmented, altered during the time of after 70 AD when Christ said to do what? Flee to the mountains. He said to flee. He didn't say stay and fight, establish your own government. That's not what he said. He said to flee into the mountains and you will survive. A lot of us chose to stay behind and got put to death miserably after a certain amount of time. All right? So, where we at? Continue, read on, continue.
In 70 CE.
In 70 CE, is this current era or AD? Esau is a devil. He wants to remove the term AD, which means the year of our Lord, Anno Domini. Is also going to change that and call it the current era. I think it's something era. I think it's current era.
Yes, I think it's current.
Yeah, rather than day of our AD, current era. Esau's a devil. Well, go ahead.
When 30,000 Jewish slaves were settled throughout Carthage by the Roman Emperor Titus.
When 30,000 slaves were settled throughout Carthage by the Roman Emperor Titus. Okay, King Titus, and that's the same that Titus his brother Domitian was the one that put John the Revelator on the island of Patmos. All right, so those of us who chose to fight back got enslaved and put on Carthage in the salt mines over there. Remember that in the movie Gladiator? He said this guy worked the salt mines in Carthage.
Right.
Okay, Juba. So keep that in mind. Babylonian and Assyrian captivity. Keep that in mind. That's what I wanted. Now, let's go back to Phoenician Ireland. We were there. Phoenician Ireland. That's all right. I can have that book. Phoenician Ireland. What page did we stop? Let me see. Was it 146?
I know we started at 146, D.
Yeah. We're going to read that again, 146. We're going to read that again. We're going to go back to bring you up to speed from what happened 2 weeks from 2 weeks ago. It's been a while, so I'm going back. Let's go.
All right. To the Phoenician Iberi belong also the people of the Silurians, who have fixed their residence in the British Isles, and of whom Tacitus thus speaks. Their faces are colored, their hair for the most part twisted.
Go to the top paragraph, the Irish Siluri.
Oh, the content. All right.
Yeah.
All right. The Irish Siluri, a tribe of the Phoenicians.
Remember, Israel established settlements in Ireland. Israel established settlements in Ireland, as well as Britain, for the tin and the mining we had over there. Go ahead.
Whether so-called because wearing breeches.
Wearing fringes. Go ahead.
Origin of the Spanish word Saraguelis. Not all the Phoenicians of Ireland called Silures. This word implying the condition of their race or their superstition. From them, the island Cellura, so-called, whether there be only one such or several. Derivation
of the word
Casiteria. Islands of that name in the Spanish Sea, why called Sika by the ancients.
Go ahead.
To the Phoenician Iberi belong also the people of the Silures, who have
to the Phoenician Iberi. Iberi goes back to Hebrew, go back to Spain. The Phoenicians, remember, we inhabited Spain. Hannibal and them had Spain on lock for about 12 to 15 years before Rome, Scipio Africanus took it over. Though we established a settlement there. If y'all recall the class 2 weeks ago. If you did not, go back and watch it. I'm not going backwards. Only slightly. Read again. To the Phoenician.
To the Phoenician Iberi belong also.
To the Phoenician Hebrew, basically. Iberi goes back to Hebrew. To the Phoenician Hebrews of Spain. Go ahead.
Belong also the people of the Silures.
The Silures come from the Phoenicians that resided in Spain, going back to Hannibal and them. It's the same people. Israelites. Go ahead.
Who had fixed their residence in the British Isles, and of whom Tacitus.
They fixed their residence where?
In the British Isles.
They fixed their residence in the British Isles. The Silures fixed their residence in the British Isles. Go ahead.
And of whom Tacitus thus speaks.
Watch it. So he's going to speak regarding the Silures. Watch this.
Their faces are colored.
They're colored people. They're black people. Go ahead.
Their hair, for the most part, twisted, and seem to encourage the belief that the ancient Iberi, who lay opposite to Spain, had crossed over and seized themselves of these settlements.
Go ahead.
The Iberi alluded to are, of course, says Bocart, those of Tarsus, who were a colony of the Phoenicians.
Go ahead.
For these alone possess either the spirit or the skill requisite for navigation.
Traveling the seas. Go ahead.
And the transplanting of colonies into distant countries.
And they transplanted colonies into distant countries. They were in Ireland, they were in Britain, they were in North Africa, we were all over the place based upon our merchandising. Go ahead.
And as there will be an effort, no doubt, to scoop the origin of the word Silures from the vowels of the Phoenician language, the learned, says he, well know that the inhabitants of the British Isles, as well as the Gauls, were accustomed to wear breeches.
So they were Israelites. They wore fringes. So now, let's get page 148. Let's go over. Next page. I'm going to read down some. From this, the Romans And we're going to end at, we'll keep going. From this to Romans, we'll start from there. On page 148.
From this, the Romans says he, by transposition, gave the name of Siluri to those Phoenicians who had settled in Ireland.
To those Phoenicians or Israelites who settled in Ireland. Go ahead.
As a mark of distinction between them and the rest of their race, just as a part of Gaul, where the use of this article prevails, is called bracasta. From that very circumstance, such is Bocart's opinion.
Come on.
To me, however...
Oh, wait, so this book of opinion, go to page 150. So, the name Silurians of the Phoenicians who settled in Ireland, they sang it again. Go to page 150 from the Silurians. Page 150.
Right there, the second paragraph.
And we're going to end at 151, Arabia.
From the Siluri is named the island of Silura.
So from the Silurians is named the island Silura. Go ahead.
Separated by a turbid strait from the coast, which is inhabited as Salamis informs us, by a British race, the Domini. There are those who would name as the islands of the Silures, or the Selene, what we at this day call the Sicily Isles.
The Scilly Isles, go ahead. So the place called Scilly Isles today is named after the Silures. Okay, real quick, the Scilly Isles. If that's today. Let's see real quick. Scilly Isles, if that's a place today. Let me look it up. Let's check it out. It wasn't my plan today, but let's look it up. I don't want to just bypass it. Scilly Isles. Isles of Scilly.
That's where...
Isles of Scilly is an archipelago of the Cornish coast in southwest England. The islands are covered in heathland and fringed by sandy beaches such as Great Bay on St. Martin's.
Hey, Deacon, it's the island of Scilly, you said?
Your island, Isles of...
Northern Kingdom inhabited that
man.
Yeah, you ain't...
Silly bird.
You ain't right, cat.
So these are islands. These are islands of Britain, of England. Okay, look here. It's old.
You say Ephraim was on right. That's where they,
they migrated to the island of Scilly.
Damn.
The national bird was the dove.
Let me see how you pronounce it, man. You ain't right.
Come on, Deke, why you gotta pronounce it?
I don't know how you pronounce it, man. Hold on. You got a damn ad in here. Hold on. Y'all can say something. I'll look at the ad.
I said all I had to say.
To say this insult. No look in them. You ain't right, man. Hold on. Here it comes. Islands of Scilly.
I'm just gonna say silly, deep.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Isles of Scilly.
Oh,
Yeah, the spirit bears witness.
Isle of Scilly. Damn, I was right. I was gonna make sure I spelled it right. Not Scilly or
The Scilly Warriors.
Isle of Scilly. Damn. All right, so it's a British island. All right.
National bird, the dove.
Archipelago.
Sillians.
So let's continue. Where we at?
The war
Damn.
cries the.
Damn.
Yeah.
Where we at?
Yes, sir.
The Scilly Isles.
The Scilly Isles
Uh-huh.
and the Belgians, the Sorlins, and which Camden enumerates to the amount of about 145, more or less, being circularly arranged, and about 8 leagues distant from the extreme Cape of Cornwall.
Mm-hmm.
This have been otherwise called by the ancients Casateres, from the 10 in which they abounded.
Right, so they gained 10 from there. They got 10 from that area, 10 from Britain. Remember I told you, we showed earlier how the Phoenicians got to the British Isles and they collected 10 from there. 10, go ahead.
Hesperides from their western locality, and Ostramanide from the promontory of Ostramanus in Artabria, to which they are opposite. Now, there is no one so unacquainted with history as not to know that the Phoenicians exported an immense
Quantity.
of 10 from those islands.
We had those islands. Those were our islands, and they're very beautiful islands, even to this day. They have beaches. It's beautiful. Those were our islands. Go ahead.
They alone, as Strabo informs us, had repaired thither from Gades on those commercial speculations, studiously the while, concealing their schemes from all others.
So when they collected 10 from this area, they concealed their trade routes. So no one else knew about the richness of these isles of Britain regarding the 10. They strategically kept other nations from figuring out that they gained wealth from the tin they got from this area here. This is our own personal secret stash of resources kept from other nations, only for us to sell. Only we had the exclusive tin. Only us. From these islands. Go ahead.
Which Bokart confirms by several collateral testimonies.
Right.
This tin they used to ship off to Syria and Arabia.
To where?
And Arabia.
So we got wealthy from selling that tin off to Syria and Arabia. That's all I want. So we were very smart with our stuff. We found resources. We said, okay, keep this to ourselves. No one else can know about this. No one else can know about this place. Let's get Genesis chapter.
You got Jay today. They get something, they floating on social media.
Right, they're retarded. Genesis 17:16. So we always had kings among us. I named some earlier. Septimius, Constantine, you had David, Solomon, we read that earlier. Josiah, Hezekiah. Genesis 17, verse 16.
The book of Genesis, chapter 17, verse 16. And I will bless her, and give thee a son also of her.
Sarah, go ahead.
Yeah, I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations.
Right, because Israel became a bunch of different nations, 12 different nations. Go ahead.
Kings of people shall be of her.
Sarah only had one child. So when it says nations, who's that referring to? Her other kids? She only had one. She only had Isaac. That's it. So what nations is he referring to? Isaac had, well, of course, he had Esau and so forth, but it's going into Israel here. All right, but go ahead.
Kings of people shall be of her.
Right, because the Esau, Edomites, they had no kings. They had dukes. We had kings. Kings of people shall be of her. Kings of people shall be of her. All right, kings of people shall be of her. Going into us. Now, get 35, verse 10. Same book.
The book of Genesis, chapter 35, verse 10.
Because this blessing is repeated. 35, verse 10 to 11.
And God said unto him, Thy name is Jacob. Thy name shall not be called any more Jacob, but Israel shall be thy name. And he called his name Israel. And God said unto him, I am God Almighty. Be fruitful and multiply.
Regarding Jacob, watch this.
A nation and a company of nations shall be of thee.
How many nations did Jacob have? One. He'd have 2, 3, 4. So that blessing that was passed on to Abraham and his wife Sarah was passed on to his son, to their grandson Jacob, or Israel, our forefather. Read again.
And God said unto him, I am God Almighty, be fruitful and multiply. A nation and a company of nations.
A nation and a company of nations. That's the 12 tribes of Israel. Go ahead.
Shall be of thee.
Shall be of you. Go ahead.
And kings shall come out of thy loins.
And kings shall come out of thy loins, going to our forefathers in the Bible, but also our forefathers that took over Rome, took over Spain, took over Italy, took over France, took over the whole freaking planet. Montezuma, Atahualpa. These are all our forefathers' children on this side of the world and the other side of the world. Okay, King Arthur, well, he was really, well, I'll get to that. Arthur as well. Septimius Severus as well. These are all Jacob's children down the line. Righteous, wicked, and righteous. Now, let's do the next book. The Welsh. Then I'm not giving away that one. That's going to stay on me.
And me.
Oh, gosh. Welsh.
Israel, if you would like the book, you know. If you send a donation, I'll give you the title.
Wow, man. This book is very, very old, very fragile. It's, how old is this book? It is, let's see. Pages falling. Look at the pages falling out.
Yeah, pages coming out.
It's 1881.
Deacon, I can repair for you if you want.
No, I'm good.
Cap, it take a year.
By any means necessary.
Page 42. I want to start at although the Romans.
Like, I gotta scan this.
Scan the whole damn book.
Scan the whole book.
Page 42. Although.
Blow it up.
Although the Romans, and we're gonna end that at glacial epoch. Glacial epoch.
Although the Romans observed several distinct varieties of people in Britain, these dark Welshmen.
Dark Welshmen. I left something out. Hold on. Say something, Jez, or somebody.
Yeah, just say something.
Welshman.
I gotta talk all show.
Shalom, Israel. All right, Most High in Christ bless. Yes, this is
Right.
important information that's coming out.
Oh gosh, he ain't saying nothing.
I found it, Jez.
You say the same thing you always say every week. It's important information coming out.
Yo, Cap, I was just warming up, man.
I found it. It's
Take care. Good night. God bless you.
Yeah, make sure you take your notes. Study your paper and pencil every week.
man.
Say something intelligent,
Shalom,
man.
Israel.
You're supposed to be the historian.
I found it.
What kind of historian are you? Don't remember the history?
It's Phoenician Islands.
You're a rent a
All right,
historian.
finish.
Damn. Phoenician
Just
Islands.
keep reading, man.
Maybe them braids are too tight in your head.
It's Phoenician Island. It's page 146 again. I'm gonna go back to the bottom of that. Hold where you're at. And go back to the Phoenician Island again. I left something out. You missed something important. People who are Welshmen are from Wales. Okay, Welshman goes back to people who are from Wales. That's what Welsh is. People of Wales. All right.
What page, Deacon?
146.
Yes. All right, so at the footnote here. This he speaketh touching the Silurians, which inhabited that part of South Wales.
They inhabited that part of South Wales. So these are Welshmen. People of Wales are people who are Welsh. All right? We were Welsh. All right? You got that page, Jay? You sent me about the blacks. Whites took over what the blacks had? The whites took over, lived in black castles. You know what I'm talking about. When you sent me you put in the text, man, you sent me where it says the whites took over the black castles.
Okay.
They took over the land. It took over.
Dick, you don't see his face?
Oh, Lord.
I got it, Deacon. I'm just, refreshing.
He got that stupid look on his face right now.
I got it.
I'm dropping my phone everywhere.
Yo, who dropped that, man?
I tell you, cut those braids off.
Go back to the we have
Kind
a
of circulation off from your
Let
head.
me help Jez.
Cap, my braid's good, man. Cap, you know what it is?
You know what you're saying?
No comment.
You know what
Poppy
you're
tired.
Hold on. Bear me a moment, y'all. It's been a while. Bear me a moment.
Hold on, Israel. Officer Don, man, say something.
Something.
There you go.
Why did you ask him? He's the human mute.
I'm trying to get him to open up.
He's a walking human burrito mute.
All right, I'm gonna say something about
No,
it.
it's
crazy,
okay,
though.
bro. It's okay.
I was gonna start
No,
saying
please.
something though, some history stuff.
Save
But
yourself.
all right,
Please.
okay.
We're
I'ma
done with
hold
Northern
back.
Kingdom.
I'ma
Sorry.
hold
You had your
You
chance.
gotta go. You can only go
Hey,
back to
Cap, you
Mexico.
might be Northern Kingdom, so you might as well just like.
I got it. I sent it. Okay, I have it.
Man.
I found it.
You found it, Deacon?
Yeah, I found it.
Oh,
Thank you.
all
I'm
praises.
doing all by myself today, man. I'm on my own today.
Yo,
Oh,
it's
no,
like-
you're not, Deacon. I got you.
Yo, you know what it is? To comment on Deacon's radio shows, like, you got to read 10 books before you make a comment.
You don't want to say nothing off.
Hold on. I'm gonna send it right now.
My man had his chance in the Northern Kingdom series. My man spoke once.
Nah, actually, it was like 3 times,
He
man.
spoke a few times.
Yeah,
man.
pronouncing words.
Yeah, that's it. Chichichikamikata.
Oh,
That's
Yo,
all
I
he's saying the whole
can't mess
time.
up, man. I mean, Northern Kingdom already got some reputation. Now, if I say something wrong over here,
Yeah,
I
you're
got
gonna get
Captain
roasted
right
too.
here. Like, he's gonna put a lot of dirt.
Yeah.
oh man. Ready?
Cap got everybody scared to say something.
Yeah, you do that.
Okay,
Yo, every time I get close to the mic, to the mic, I feel like his presence right here next to me.
Yeah. Let's read it one more time. 146.
You got the
One more
page?
time.
You got the page?
I sent to y'all in the group me. Go back, read again, page 146 again.
Yes,
go back
sir.
to it again. Read that part in the bottom part. This is he. Yeah, go back to it again. We're gonna read just that whole statement there.
All right, so this he speaketh touching the Silurians, which inhabited that part of South Wales,
They were the Welsh, South Wales. Go ahead.
which now we call
Herefordshire,
Herefordshire,
Radnorshire,
Radnorshire, Brecknockshire, Monmouthshire, and Glamorganshire.
Glamorganshire, huh?
And although the like reason may be given for that part of Ireland which lieth next unto Spain, yet in Tacitus we find no such inference.
Inference. He said emphasis. I don't know what that even word.
Buchanan.
He made another word up again.
Hey, yo, cut that part out.
Inference.
Inference.
I didn't want to say anything,
Inference.
but you messed up a couple today.
It's all right. It's all right. That word's not common among us.
Yeah, he's black.
Inference. So let's go back. Let's go back to
man.
inference. So they inhabited South Wales. They had Gregganshire. They speak Shire. You watch Lord of the Rings. It's Shire stuff. Shire this, Shire that. So that was us talking like that, and that was us living in those areas.
But we didn't look like that, though.
Yeah,
Like the wings.
right. Lord of the Rings. Right. That's the whitewashing again. So let's go back to the Welsh again, page 42. Let's start there again. So now we got an idea who inhabited Wales, South Wales, or the Welsh. Although the Romans.
Blow it up a little more. Right there. Go back. Right there. That's good. All right. Although the Romans observed several distinct varieties of people in Britain, these dark Welshmen were unlike the reputed Cymri or Gaels. Who were they? Being so very dark in skin and hair.
There you go. Being so very what? Dark and what?
Being so very dark in skin and hair.
Go ahead.
The Silurians were pronounced by some to be of Phoenician origin.
Right, Israel. Go ahead.
Tradition came in aid to this hypothesis, for there were not wanton stories of the visits of Phoenicians.
Right, we got there. We visited that area and colonized it. Go ahead.
But that departed nation of merchant traders has been credited with all sorts of things by writers upon very slight foundation.
Watch this.
That the dark Welsh,
The dark Welsh. Go ahead.
like the dark Irish,
The dark Irish. Go ahead.
were never much given to the sailors' craft, is a proof that they were hardly Phoenicians.
Now he's trying to play games. Go ahead. Keep going.
The Silures of Wales
The Silurians of Wales. The Welsh. Go ahead.
have been almost universally associated with the Iberi, or Iberians.
Well, the Iberians. That's Israel and Spain. Iberians. Go ahead. Go back to the Hebrews again. Go ahead.
They were not Celts, either in Wales, England, Scotland, Ireland, France, or Spain. Wherever they have been recognized, they may have been called black Celts.
They were called why? They're called black Celts. You had Esau there too. White Celts. Go ahead.
But were truly before the Celts came into these countries.
They were
Those
truly-
countries.
But what?
But were truly before the Celts came into those countries.
Because you had Northern Kingdom was in there, and then Southern Kingdom came in after also. Okay? So you had different varieties of Celts. So there was still Jake. So you had Southern, that's why I mentioned earlier about Assyrian invasion and Babylonian invasion. Israel fled into these areas, step at a time. Northern Kingdom got there first, but then Judah came after. So you have black Celts, you have different kinds. This mentions earlier, this is the Cymri or the Gaels. The Cymri was Jake also. Okay? And the Gaels also. But you also had, then you had the white Irish and you had the white Wales. You had Esau there. So you had three different categories. You had Japheth there earlier. Then you had Jake come after. And then you had Esau come later on. And you had different varieties of so-called black Jakes because you had Southern Kingdom, Northern Kingdom coming there, fighting each other or whatever, going against each other or whatever in this area. All right? Where we at?
In all cases, but in North Spain, they speak the language of their conquerors. For Welsh Silurians use Cymric as Cornish ones do English.
That's Cornish. See, Cornish ones do English. Go ahead.
And Aquitani do French. Tacitus pointedly declares the Silures were like the Iberi of Spain.
The what?
The Iberi of Spain.
The Israelites of Spain. Go ahead.
Whom we now recognize as Basques.
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 So the Silurians are also referred to as Basques. Basques. Okay, keep that term in mind. I might come across it again. Basques. Okay, keep that in mind. Let me see. Get Job 9:24. So these are black. You never heard the term before. Dark Irish, dark Welsh, black Celts. That's not none. You hear about Celt, you think white people. White Celts is white folks. Irish is white folks. Welsh is white folks. Not initially. Not initially, no. That took over. It took over later. I'm going to show you that too. I'm going to show you. Job 9:24.
Job chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
Wicked is Esau, Malachi 1, verse 4. The wicked is Esau. Go ahead.
He covered the faces of the judges thereof.
He covers the face. Who's the judges? The children of Israel. We are the judges thereof. Go ahead.
If not, where? And who is he?
And so if he don't cover the faces of the judges, who has? Who has whitewashed the faces of the judges? The Lord, the Father himself, the Son, excuse me, the angels, the Israelites. Who's covered the angels? Who covers their faces? Aside from the white man. No one who, if not him, who else? Go ahead.
Now my days are swift.
That's him, so that's it. So the Lord's asking the question, if not him, who did he use to do it? If not the white man. White man whitewashed everything and everyone, including the original Irish, the original French, the original British. That was Japheth and Jake. And then Jake took over. So I'm just showing you how they changed the course of history. Now, I'm not saying these guys are all holy and righteous, no, but this history is important because all you get is, that video, that comedy video. I'm going to show you what we get in school today.
It's on the group.
I'm going to show you what we get in history today. I'm going to show you a comedy of what we learned today in school.
I think, LaQuart, you had something. Also, LaQuart, you had something you want to say?
Yes, sir.
Oh, look like you want to say something.
Yeah, he's preparing himself.
Watch this. Watch this. This is school today.
So today in class we'll be learning all about black history. So write down that Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves, Martin Luther King, he had a dream, and moving on to Anne Frank. So it all started in 1939, back in World War II.
Move on to Anne Frank. The Holocaust.
Yo, you get my man in the black.
Rewind it again. Go to the top.
Had a dream.
Go to the top. So we're going to move on to Anne. Look at their faces. Move on to Anne Frank. Let's play again.
So today in class we'll be learning all about black history. So write down that Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves, Martin Luther King, he had a dream, and moving on to Anne Frank. So it all started in 1939, back in World War II. When this part.
Is that it for Black History, or?
Oh yeah, Rosa Parks said no. Don't forget that one. So yeah, like I was saying, back in 1939, at the start of the World War II.
That's all we did.
Yeah. I just told you everything.
That's it. That's black history. That's what we learned in school today.
In a nutshell.
Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. Rosa Parks said no. Martin Luther King had a dream. Okay, Holocaust now. That's like 4 months of class, Holocaust. That's black history in school today.
1 month.
In a nutshell, 1 month.
That's crazy. How do you give 1 month?
Within that 1 month, you get 1 day of school teaching of black people. That's it.
That's it. 1 day. You will get every day.
They said, that's what we did? Yeah, I just told you everything.
We didn't giving y'all, that took that long, the napkins. We didn't giving y'all, I got it now. We didn't giving y'all what, a few weeks of
Did we clean that up for you?
Black history? No, I got it. Black history, I'm spilling stuff on my books now, damn. You understand? We've given y'all weeks upon what, damn near a couple of months of history. It's a whole bunch of it. You just gotta look, you gotta dig. This book is from 1881, this book. 1881, a little after we got so-called emancipated. A little after. That's why it's falling apart. They mention the black Irish, the black Celts. They mention that stuff. Now, let's get Ezekiel 28, 12. Regarding this man covering things. We're going to be Ezekiel 28, verse 12 to verse 17.
The book of Ezekiel chapter 28, verse 12. Son of man, take up a lamentation upon the king of Tyrus, and say unto him, Thus saith the Lord, Thou sealest up the sum, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty.
Oh, let me get there with you. 1 second. 1 second. I got it.
Verse 12. Son of man, take up a lamentation upon the king of Tyrus, and say unto him.
Now remember, we went over this. We went over this maybe a few weeks ago about Tyrus. How this prophecy is not just reference into Tyrus, or Tyrus is also going into other nations that gain the same power and arrogance and pomp, including America. Okay, read on. So it's in reference to nations that gain power. Go ahead.
And say unto him, Thus saith the Lord God, Thou sealest up the sum full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of God.
Now, was Tyrus in the garden of God? No. Tyrus is not in the garden of God. This is referring to the Garden of Eden, the garden of God. Go ahead. So he's saying, thou hast been, you have been, who he's referring to prophetically, in the garden of God. Go ahead.
Every precious stone was thy covering, the sardis, topaz, and a diamond, the beryl, the onyx, and a jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, and a carbuncle. Carbuncle. Sorry, I had a jazz moment.
Oh, man.
And gold.
The car bubble. I don't know what the hell a car bubble is.
Sorry.
It must be a car that goes in the water.
Philadelphia's hookaphonics.
Oh,
Sorry. I'm infused with blackness.
Damn. Carbuncle and what?
Carbuncle and gold. The workmanship of thy tabrets and of thy pipes was prepared in thee in the day that thou was created.
So you had status. He's referring to a certain person that had wealth and power in the garden at this time. Status, go ahead.
And Deacon, it's kind of crazy how that same person is coming back into that area, the garden, and retaking that wealth.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Thou art the anointed cherub that covereth.
It's on. He says, you are the anointed cherub that covers. Who's this? Who's this referring to? Who was in the garden of God? It's referring to the devil. But guess what? It says the wicked covered the faces thereof. It's the same man that did the same thing before. This man was in the garden before. Okay? I'm going to get too deep, but this is referring to the same man today. Remember Revelation 12 real quick? Hold that.
We going there, Deacon.
No, I'm gonna real quick.
You got to.
I'm going to show you. It's the same man. Same man doing the same exact thing.
Revelation chapter 12, verse 9.
9?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil.
Stop. That great dragon, that old serpent. Why is he called that old serpent? Because it's the same spirit that was in the garden that deceived the woman, is that same spirit today in physical form as a nation. It's referring to Edom. This great red dragon is Esau, by the way. This great red dragon is Esau. So when was Esau in the Garden of Eden? When he was somebody else. That's when. When he was Cain. That's who it's referring to. Read again.
And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan.
Called the devil and what?
And Satan.
He's called. So this great red dragon is a nation of people, which is Esau. And he's called what?
Satan.
Called the what? No. Called the
devil.
He's called the devil, which means what? Deceiver. The great deceiver, a liar, the whitewasher, the iconoclast specialist, the expert of iconoclasm, destroying images, whitewashing them, painting them over. He's that anointed cherubim that covereth. He's that messenger that God set up to cover everything, cover the faces of judges thereof. That's him. Asians don't do that. You don't see no damn Chinese Jesus.
No
cheeky eyes. You don't see no Arab Jesus unless a white man produces it. You don't see no freaking Hawaiian Jesus.
Nope.
Hawaiian angels.
Nope.
Arab angels. You don't see that. Filipino prophets. You don't see that.
But Esau's the Arabs.
But Esau's the Arabs. You niggas are stupid as hell, man.
Stupid.
You're going to die with them too, trying to hide them.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You're going to die trying to hide that bastard. Anyway, don't get me upset. The point of the matter is that there's only one nation of people that specialize in whitewashing and covering up history. There's one nation of people doing that. One. That God set up. He's that messenger, that cherub that's set to do that. That was in the garden of God from the beginning. That's why I call him that old serpent. Revelation 12. Read again. In the top.
And the great dragon was cast out.
The great dragon is the great red dragon back in verse 1. With 7 heads and 10 horns. The EU, European Union. 7 European nations. Which go, and America extends out of those 10 horns. Which would be Britain. The 7th horn comes out of, America comes out of the 7th horn, which is the 8th. America is of the 7th horn. That's why the Statue of Liberty has 7 horns in her head. The Statue of Liberty has 7 horns on her, count them, and 10 toes sticking out under her gown. It's not a coincidence. It's not confusion. Your Negroes are retarded. Why man, the French Masons gave it to the American Masons. Okay, yeah, have her feet out. Put chains under her feet, and then give her 7 horns on top of her head, with a light, with illumination in her hand, light in her hand. Light of the world, Lucifer. It's the same thing.
Yeah, the woman that sat
on many waters. It's telling you who she is. But you're no, it's the Arabs.
Deacon,
retarded.
People don't. America just don't do things for no reason. Why would they place the Statue of Liberty with 7 horns in the middle of the water, holding a light?
Right.
She got to fulfill prophecy. The white man can't. It's like a dog that sees the carpet, he pees on the spot. He can't help it. Right. He got to pee on the spot. The white man got to do what he got to do. He's like, I shouldn't do it because the Bible says, but I got to do it.
Yeah. Who can't resist my will?
The white man said, the Most High said, establish yourself as the eagle. White man reads that, you know what, let's use the seagull. He's like, nope, we're going to use the eagle. Why? Because LaQuad just said you cannot resist God's will.
You cannot.
He's going to do what God tells him to do, even if it means revealing himself to the world.
Right.
He's going to do it because God said he would do it. That's why Elon Musk said, we got to get up out of here. Get these spaceships built by next year and escape this place because these niggas are going to take over. Soon after World War III takes place, our power is gone. We're going to leave and try to recoup in Mars. A red planet for a red people.
Hey, and they're trying to change the future so much, but they keep on following the Bible on every step.
Right. So you can't deny it's them. So you can't say, oh, it's not them. It is them. Read verse 9 again.
Verse 9. And a great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan.
Called the deceiver. The deceiver that does what? That deceives the world. Convince the world that what? That he's God. With what? His images. That he's Christ. With what? His images. Which he's the prophets, he's the Jews, he's the Christians. With what? His images, his media, his movies, his paintings, his depictions, the false depictions. Only he does these things. Changing time, thinking to change times and laws. Only he does these things. He's the biggest deceiver. Nope, the year doesn't start in the spring, it starts in wintertime. He the only one. Though the week doesn't start, the day doesn't start at sundown, we're going to start in the early sundown a.m., 12 a.m. The year starts January, not February, March, April, but January. He's the great deceiver. The devil. It's not a race thing. We hate him because of his complexion. It's his actions. Right. His actions make him the devil, not his face, not his features. That's a flag. That's a pinpoint of who he is, how he looks. Because he's the only nation on the earth that looks like that. Every nation on the earth has a history of being black. Every one of them. Arabs have black history. Syrians have black history. Chinese have black history. Japanese have black history. White folks are the only people on the earth that look like them. Were never black. They were never black, ever. So God says, okay, all nations, you guys are going to stand out because you're the devil the Bible speaks of.
And Deacon,
period.
There's a time coming there will be black. Obadiah.
Oh, yeah, burnt to a crisp. Yeah.
What? No. I was waiting for it. I was waiting for it.
Yeah, I got it.
I was waiting for it. I was like, that was a good one. Also LaQuad, LaQuad's good.
I was hoping something was coming. I was waiting for something to come by.
I'm like, wait. Talks.
Y'all about to pull that sword out.
No, it wasn't, bro.
All praise.
I don't pull a sword on LaQuad. LaQuad's good. It's these two guys.
Oh, man.
You're like,
oh, man.
I'm sorry, you're
Hey,
right,
I'm following Judah.
Read verse 9 again.
We're going to have a conversation after this.
Read verse 9.
And a great dragon was cast out. That old serpent.
That old serpent that was in the garden of God, in Ezekiel 28 says, go ahead.
Called the devil.
Called the devil. Which was Cain. Cain was what? Of that wicked one. It's the same, return to the same person. Just different time. Go ahead.
And Satan.
And adversary. Why? What does Satan mean? It means adverse. Whatever God says, he's the opposite. God is black. Nope, make him white. Christ is black. Nope, make him white. The day begins the sundown. Nope, it begins the sun up. Opposite. Celebrate the Messiah, honor the Messiah's birth by keeping the commandments. Nope, honor his death by keeping his commandments. Nope, honor his birth. Christmas. That ain't biblical. Everything he does is adverse. It's opposite. Be fruitful, multiply. Nope, be homosexual and die off.
Hey, Deacon.
That's his whole MO. Just whatever God says, opposite. Yeah.
This guy's the only man that could tell another nation that you're a terrorist organization for fighting for fighting back against you dropping bombs on their country and destroying the country. How you gonna tell somebody, you know what? You're a terrorist organization for attacking me for attacking you.
Right.
And you better not respond for me killing your nuclear physicist or your top general.
Right.
He's the only nation that could tell another nation what is from Baghdad. What's the guy that got killed on TV?
Iran.
Well, no. Baghdad years ago. No.
That's Iran.
I know you talking about.
Saddam
Hussein?
Yeah, they said he's releasing biochemical warfare on his people.
Right.
But Esau released viruses on his people all the time.
Right, all the time.
The devil.
Right. They don't want to tell you, listen, we're going to release a vaccine, and you might catch Bell's palsy from it, but we pass a law so you can't sue us for it.
Damn.
For the side effects. Or we'll tell you, listen, you own a business, you got to close it down, and we're not going to pay you, and you can't open your store.
Bruh.
That's demonic. You telling us what we can and can't do with our own business. Then we can't get money from it. On top of that, we can't even get a stimulus check. They're arguing over that. Give them $600. Give them $1,200. Give them nothing. That's demonic. It's demonic. And if y'all don't seize the devil, then you're the devil too. That's why.
And that's why the Most I ask, if he's not,
right, then who is he?
Come up with an answer.
As to who else it could be.
Right. Who's doing these things?
Who else? God is saying, who else am I using aside from this nation? Who else could it be?
But only Negroes, black people will question God. Say, no, it can't be this guy. It can't be him.
Somebody else.
God says, who is it then?
Yeah,
he said, the Arabs.
Right, it's the Arabs. No, it's us. It's black people doing it. You guys are retarded.
Aren't black people the enemies? I think somebody said it the other day, Kent, right? He said, so you don't see black people as your enemies?
Right. Read verse 9 again. One more time.
Verse 9. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent.
The old serpent from the garden of God. Go ahead.
Called the devil.
Called the deceiver, the great liar.
And Satan.
And adversary of God and his people.
Which deceiveth the whole world.
Which deceives the whole world by doing what? By covering the faces of the judges thereof. Deceiving the world. Go ahead.
He was cast out in the earth, and his angels were cast out with him.
And his what?
His angels were cast out with him.
Angels. Go back to cherubims again. His messengers, his men, his followers, his military, his armies were cast out with him. His angels. Go back to Ezekiel 28 now. Read verse 14 again.
Ezekiel chapter 28, verse 14. Thou art the anointed cherub that covereth.
He is the anointed cherub that covers. Covers what? The faces of the judges thereof. The wicked. This is the anointed. God set him up to do this. If not, where and who is he? That's what Job asked. That's what's being asked of Job. If it's not him, who is it? He's the same spirit from the garden of God. He's that same old serpent. It's the same being. The physical incarnation of that same being. The same man that deceived the black woman back then does it today. Feminism, same thing. Abortion, same thing.
You forgot the new one. The black woman, the one that is the minister of the vaccine.
Oh, yeah. Right. I can't forget that. The Tuskegee experiment, they used a black woman for that.
Right.
Now they're using a black woman to administer the vaccine. The same black woman I heard has tweets that say,
she's saying
she
that
don't want her black sons to have white friends.
She want to marry a white man.
And she might end up marrying a white man, and that she doesn't deal with that nigger male, nigger female.
I have it right here.
Please read. Let's read this. Let's read this wonderful miracle cure black woman's tweets, please. Let's read them. And let's see if she's any different from that evil black nigger from the Tuskegee experiments that Esau used. Let's see.
Want me to send it to him?
You can send it to them or whatever. You can read it.
Yeah,
let's all read it together. For those of you who may be proud of her accomplishment of finding a vaccine to cure us with.
Yeah, but they won't tell you the additives. The
additives.
The additives. The add in the.
Yeah, she sprinkled some sugar in it. That's what she did.
Let me 1 second. Let me send it. Okay.
So Esau would be like, see, we didn't kill you.
Right, it wasn't us. It was a black woman.
It was a black woman.
Like
Your
Obama. We didn't pass the gay laws. Obama did. And guess what? A white man came on the news recently and said that me and Obama got something in common. We both were slave, are the children of slave owners.
Slave owners, yeah.
Meaning he was definitely Ham. He was not Jake at all.
Esau knows that.
So no doubts about that now. Definitely Ham.
That's why they put him up for president.
That's right.
Esau know who they put in office.
Edomite mother and his Hamite father. Let's read this wonder cure black woman's comments on tweet a few years back 10 years ago. Who gonna read it?
I'm sorry. What's her name? HLB4. RT Beautiful Black. I will probably end up.
Yeah, house to be HLN, house lady nigga. Well, house nigga lady. HNL.
I like that, Deacon.
Yeah, thank you. Read that.
I will probably end up marrying a white boy with a soulful voice. Questions, making new plans in 2012.
No, I hope to God that this is false information. This is not her. But if it is, wow. Next one.
I got the next one.
I will probably end up. So it gotta be a black woman who wrote this because we don't. Probably is not a word. It's probably. So that's not some black words.
Yeah, it's one of the slangs.
Probably. I know.
That's why Jed's not having a hard time reading it.
Oh, it's not. That's her right here. It's our wonderful cure here, the cure lady. Kesmikia Corbett. These names, God.
Go next comment. Look like I hate black people. I'm killing niggas.
Go next comment. Go next comment, please. That one. That's it right there. The red. Red. Yeah, blow that up.
I hope my kids have white friends. No offense, but most of you niggas and nigga bitches have the worst friendship circle.
Well, I agree with that part. I can't deny that. But nonetheless, it's still wicked as hell what she's saying. The bottom line is, the white friends part, no. The white friends part, no.
She doesn't identify with her race.
No, she does not identify with her race at all.
The black what is it?
Black bourgeoisie. She falls under there. She falls right up under there. But Negroes are wicked as hell. But I still have.
Yeah, but we won't say that on, Yeah. Well, we do say it.
We do say it. That's why.
But we love our people when we say it.
Exactly.
We say it because we love them.
Because we want them to change.
Right.
Yeah.
She want to kill them.
Yeah, she want to kill.
Yeah, she want to kill them.
Right. So again, this is what she said. Her kids have white friends. She has a white husband. So that lets you know where her mind is at.
Let me see her husband. Let me see her husband. Let me look her up.
She's married?
We're gonna find out. What's her name?
Kesmikia.
Let me
Corbett.
see.
Bring it back.
Yeah, let me look her up.
Can't pronounce that.
Corbett.
Kesmikia
Corbett.
This will tell us. If she has a white husband, it's game over.
Most likely.
What do we do?
I don't see a man in her life.
Kizzy.
What they call it, Kizzy?
Yeah, I see it here. Kizzy, early life education.
Maybe she's one of those black women that is not gonna get married.
Well, it says here that she was raised in a foster home. That explains it right there.
White
she had a
parents?
large family of step siblings and foster siblings.
Yep, most likely in a white family.
Let me see foster parents. Let me look her foster parents up. They don't got nothing on her. I'm seeing.
She's a ghost.
Dang, they don't got no family records, nothing.
Yeah, they just put it up as a black face.
Right, they just
Shoot, they probably just they probably raised
CIA.
her. Yes, they probably raised her up or something.
Who knows? The bottom line is that if that's her comments, we know what we're dealing with. She's the black La Malinke. It's the same thing. Same thing. La Malinche.
About the same
thing. If she's even involved slightly in that vaccination nonsense. Let's go back to my class, man. Ezekiel 28. Let's go back.
Oh, dang, Dick, I didn't even realize.
No, we still on it.
Okay.
Verse 14.
Ezekiel 28, verse 14. Thou art the anointed cherub that covereth.
Right.
And I have set thee so. That was upon the holy mountain of God.
Right.
Thou hast walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire.
The fire goes back to that wealth, the jasper, the sapphire, the power, the wealth. Go ahead.
Thou was perfect in thy ways, from the day that thou was created, till iniquities was found in thee.
Cain. Process of time, he went the hell off. It's Cain. Talk about Cain now. Go ahead.
By the multitude of thy merchandise, they had filled the midst of thee with violence, and thou hast sinned. Therefore, I will cast thee as profane out of the mountain of God.
Right, you're cast out. Go ahead. He was cast out. Go ahead.
And I will destroy thee, O covering cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire. Thy heart was lifted up because of thy beauty. Thou hast corrupted thy wisdom by reason of thy brightness. I will cast thee to the ground. I will lay thee before. I will cast thee to the ground.
Cast you to the ground. Go ahead.
I will lay thee before kings, that they may behold thee.
That's Isaiah 14. Mm-hmm. That's Isaiah 14 all over again. Is this the man? that shook kingdoms? That's what it's talking about. Go ahead.
Thou hast defiled thy sanctuaries by the multitude of thy iniquities, by the iniquity of thy traffic.
Of thy what?
Of thy traffic.
I'm going too far. About thy traffic. Go ahead.
Therefore will I bring forth a fire from the midst of thee. It shall devour thee.
There you go.
And I will bring thee to the ashes upon the earth in the sight of all them that behold thee.
Who's that? That's going back to Babylon again.
Mm-hmm.
It's going back to Babylon again. He's saying Tyrus, but he's indirectly talking about other kingdoms to come prophetically. Like the one Paul spoke about in Thessalonians. I brought this out months ago about Thessalonians. It's not just referring to Tyrus. It's referring to Tyrus, Babylon. It's going back as far as here to this now. That's what it's talking about. So it's talking about Esau as well in this context here. That's what it's talking about. Because he's that old serpent that was in the garden. He's that old serpent. Okay? He's that wicked one. So now, let's get on where we at. First Maccabees 3:48. First Maccabees 3:48 now.
And I think you wanted this page up here.
Yeah, I got that. I didn't forget.
The book of 1 Maccabees chapter 3, verse 48. And laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images.
That's the Greeks. The heathen, the Greeks sought to paint. The Arabs didn't do this. Africans didn't do this. The Persians didn't do that. Syrians didn't do this. Read it again, please.
And laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images.
The heathen sought to paint the what?
The likeness of their images.
They whitewashed our images on our Bibles. That's what they were doing. This is the biblical iconoclasm. The Greeks were whitewashing our depictions of our forefathers we had in our Bibles, painting them as themselves. That's what they were doing. That's what they were doing. Okay? That's it? In that verse? 48?
Yes.
Get Psalms 50 verse 20. Psalm 50 verse 16.
The book of Psalms, chapter 50, verse 16. But unto the wicked God saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth? Seeing thou hatest instruction, and castest my words behind thee. When thou sawest a thief, then thou consentest with him, and hast been partaker with adulterers. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. Thou slanderest thy own mother's son.
That's going into Esau slandering Jacob. Go ahead.
These things hast thou done.
These things have you done. Go ahead.
And I kept silence.
And I stayed quiet about it. Go ahead.
Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one as thyself.
Go ahead.
But I will reprove thee, and set them in order before thy eyes.
He will reprove you, prove your wrong, and set us in order before your eyes. You see the Most High's army, our marches and so forth, Israel coming together, Israel gathering together, unifying, coming to the knowledge of who they are. That's happening before them now. They can't stop it. Go ahead.
Verse 22.
21 again.
These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one as thyself.
How? God is white, Christ is white, angels are white, Israelites are white. They thought we were all together. The most times you think I'm like you? You think I look like you? No, I don't look like you. But the white man made the world believe so. Go ahead.
But I will reprove thee.
I will correct you.
And set them in order before thine eyes.
He will use those who he sets in order before their eyes to correct you, to reprove, to show you guys are liars, to disprove all your lies. Go ahead.
Verse 22. Now consider this, ye that forget God, lest I tear you in pieces, and there be none to deliver.
Right, go back to Ezekiel 28 again. Them being burned with the fire. Revelation 18. We went over this last night, the Sabbath. Habitation of devils. Babylon is fallen. The whole Babylon is fallen. It's fallen. Let's go back to the book, page 42, the Welsh.
You got it?
Yeah. 5 minutes. Yeah.
All right.
Where we at? Let me get there with you.
Go up some.
You were in page
Right here.
42.
Right here. No. Go back. Right there. That paragraph right here.
Yeah, after the boss, the Iberia of Spain, the Reverend.
The Reverend R. Garnick says, ancient writers uniformly represent the Celts as intruders from the eastward upon the Iberians. Professor Rudler, before the British Association, asked, does it not seem probable that the early, short race of long-skulled, mild-featured, stone-using people may have been the ancestors of the swarthy Silurians of Tacitus?
The what? The what are they called?
The swarthy Silurians of Tacitus.
Swarthy means black. Swarthy means black. Negro. Swarthy Silurians. You probably wonder, why are we going with these people so much? Silurians. Why are they so important? You'll find out soon enough. Go ahead. Swarthy. They were swarthy with twists in their hair. Go ahead. He
then proceeds, as the Silures were to Britain, so were the Aquitani to Gaul. They were the dark Iberian element.
They were the black Iberian element. Go ahead.
Mr. Grant L. Allen, in a recent fortnightly magazine, referred to a primitive, dark-skinned and black-haired nation.
A primitive, dark-skinned and black-haired nation. Go ahead.
Known as the Euskarian Basque.
The Basque. So the Basque goes back to who? You read it earlier. It says the Silures were like the Iberia of Spain, whom we now recognize as Basques. And what would they look again? What's the description again? Referred to as what? A primitive?
Primitive, dark-skinned and black-haired nation, known as the Euskarian Basque.
See that? Go ahead.
Who probably migrated into Britain shortly after the close of the last glacial epoch.
Whatever that means. Ice Age, some nonsense. Go ahead, that's their time confusion. 43, hold on. 43, and stop at Celt and Iberian.
Some style the modern Iberian as Celt Euskarian from the mixture of blood.
So some style the modern Iberian as a Celt Euskarian, or Celt. Is the Silurians still them? Still Silurians. They're referred to as Celts as well. Go ahead.
The authors of that valuable work, Crania Britannia, inclined to think that those in Wales may have come from the England side when the Belgi or Celts invaded Britain. Camden, Newburgh, and Lappenberg adopt the Iberian ideal.
So to help you understand, Northern Kingdom got up in there, in this area. Then eventually more of us migrated into this area at later times and became Celts as well. But it's the same people. It's the same people, different divisions of them. Kind of like in America, you had the Aztecs, different groups. Like I mentioned earlier, I mentioned to y'all like the Toltecs, Chichimecs, it's all different names, but the same people.
And Deacon, what I noticed throughout history, Northern Kingdom always migrates first, and Judah comes secondary and takes over.
Likewise, you had in Africa, you had the Igbos, Yorubas, Fulani, all of our people, but different subdivisions and names. Right. All right, same thing. Go ahead.
Well, did I say something wrong? Brothers are looking at me like I said something wrong.
No. Go
Did
ahead.
I say something wrong?
No, you good, Cat.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
It must be recollected that the Celts, as Henry Martin observes, have neither destroyed nor expelled the interior population, though he admits that the vanquished, the brown, have been Celticized by the conquerors, even to the adoption of their language. Jordanes, in an old Latin work of the 6th century, notices the dark-haired people. The Welsh bards often use the epithet of "du" or "dark" to men.
Go ahead.
Dr. Thurman declares the Iberians of Wales to be only representative of others not like themselves, confined to the extreme west of the island.
We're going to stop at Celt and Iberian. It's coming up.
Messrs. Davis and Thurman report the early British diasphyli of the Stone period were, we think, either derived from the ancient Iberians or from a common source with that people.
Go ahead. The Iberians of Wales are the same people. Go ahead. Of Iberia, Spain. Go ahead.
While Professor Huxley detects Australian affinities with the ancient stone men, Professor Vogt would bring Iberians from America by way of the lost Atlantis, the connecting land between Florida and our own continent, which in the middle Tertiary period was still above the water. Greeks and Latins often spake of the lost Atlantis and the Atlantidae. Strabo is careful to say that both Celtica and Belgica differed from the Silurians.
Different groups of people. This is all the same people. Go ahead. Different titles. Go ahead.
Professor Boyd Dawkins has done much for Welsh ethnology. He deems Silures, Iberians, Ligures, and small dark Etruscans.
And small dark what?
Etruscans.
Small dark Etruscans is Japheth. The Etruscans was Japheth. Japheth. That's the original inhabitants of Europe. And small dark Etruscans. It was an admixture of them all. Jakes and your Japheth mingled together before Esau showed up. Go ahead.
Ethnological islands isolated by successive invasions. The Basque-speaking people, says he, are to be looked upon as a fragment of the race which occupied the British Isles and the area west of the Rhine and north of the Alps in the Neolithic age.
Go ahead.
It is not then surprising to find him writing about small, swarthy Welshmen with long head and Iberian physique. Again, he says, the broad-headed dark Welshman is identical with the broad-headed dark Frenchman, Celt and Iberian. And the Welsh people may be defined ethnologically as principally Celt and Iberian.
Same people, but they intermingle with Japheth, the Etruscans, who is short and dark. So our physiology changed a little bit, mixing with Japheth over here. But over there. All right? So we're going to stop there. I want to bring that part out about the dark Etruscans. That's Japheth there, the original inhabitants of Europe, Etruscans. Like the Minoans, things of that nature. Thracians, same thing, that's all Japheth. So we're gonna stop there. This whole tight. We got some more. Come on.
They're screaming peace when there ain't no peace. Israel prophesying in the streets. Look at me, the center of attention. Black Messiah, come.
Crown the kings, no crowns and rings, country grammar, sound serene. Watch them clean, drip that water, flood of smoke. I went for broke, I proud of me.
Waiting on the manifestation of the sons of God, the saints patient. In a spiritual war until the spiritual powers get it down, then we gon' make nations bow. Beat in the dust and powder. Crawl on your belly like a serpent. Cow with no scar face, this earth is ours. Walking on heads like the turf was flowers. Walls of the city, they breaking hot. I go up and down, it's a close encounter. Prophecies I see fulfilled. We living at the banner on this here mountain. John 7:38, rivers and fountains flowing through the city like a pyramid bounty. Going through the city just to seal them. County, that's a lost penny on the ground. 2020 blitz, me on fist. So a net catch 153 big fish. Living millstone turn around they necktie. Still trying to see did it sink that quick. Be a street bully, stronghold, pull it down, boost to the ground. Ranks getting forward. And if you at home, sleep what you in this for. Cause it ain't no peace till we win this war. 2020 blitz, me on fist. So a net catch 153 big fish. Living millstone turn around they necktie. Still trying to see did it sink that quick. Be a street bully, stronghold, pull it down, boost to the ground. Ranks getting forward. And if you at home, sleep what you in this for. Cause it ain't no peace till we win this war.
Real recognize real and they unfamiliar. Brothers fold like dollar bills for 30 pieces of silver. I ain't got no hatred for you, your own works will kill you. You'll sin now and pay later cause the Lord will bill you. That's enough, I'm about to head to Memphis. I'm done addressing these false brothers, they so pretentious. Our people dying, they need prophets to bring the census. The cost of sin is your life and that's too expensive. Christ paid it with his life, he paid those expenses. But only for the Israelites who follow repentance. For these preachers still lying, ain't no happy ending. I'm Gary Payton with the gospel, I'm set to defend it. The deacon put the order out, so I'm on the mission. A lot of brothers on the couch just scratching and itching, rolling round like a door swinging on the hinges. And if the shoe fits, I hope they get offended.
Not no more. Not no more. Who's the king? Who's the king? What time is it?
And if you ain't home, sleep what you in this for, cause it ain't no peace till we win this war.
Yeah, we got that fire, so don't run from the script. They get the gun from your hip, get hit with the fire. Not the fire that come from a clip, but the fire that come from my lips. And we ready to blaze. When that alarm erupt, that mean it's time that we armor up. Yeah, these heaters be really thinking they harming us, but our God won't allow them to tarnish us. They gon' honor us, so we advise them to let go. It was awesome from the get-go. It'll be the Omega when they see that perk pulling go with the boots on the ground like a step show. Echo, let's go, take over the planet. Just as long as the Lord behind us, these heathens can't stand it, and we gon'
blitz. Give me your fist, so when they catch 153 big fish. Living millstone, turn around they necktie, still trying to see did it sink that quick. Be a street bullet, stronghold, pull it down, boost to the ground, ranks get forward. And if you at home, sleep what you in this for, cause it ain't no peace till we win this war. 2020 blitz, give me your fist, so when they catch 153 big fish. Living millstone, turn around they necktie, still trying to see did it sink that quick. Be a street bullet, stronghold, pull it down, boost to the ground, ranks get forward. And if you at home, sleep what you in this for, cause it ain't no peace till we win this war.
Nice to meet you, Mr. War and Peace. Tell me one thing, how do we war and peace? The lions roaring while they sleep and count sheep. Kings and priests, I'd rather chill and sip the grape's blood, but the word of God is sitting on my taste buds. Got this little light of mine, I let it shine like the new moon. Not your average Jew dude, this brute food. The man of war fed me manna. Now I'm ready, this ain't playtime. A blitz, pull the hit stick, Mike Vick to a K9.
Calling all soldiers from the SIP to California, from the bottom of the map to the desert, Arizona. Here to prophesy of war, famine, pestilence like Rona. You a goner if you ain't willing to mortify your members, make them quiver, cause it ain't no peace. You looking at your priest, no more hiding in the corner. We in your face on Beale Street, now feel me when I say you better repent, or that's the end of your existence. We blitzing 2020 down in Tennessee, Memphis.
Give me your fist, so when they catch 153 big fish. Living millstone, turn around they necktie, still trying to see did it sink that quick. Be a street bullet, stronghold, pull it down, boost to the ground, ranks get forward. And if you at home,
time. I think it's time. We out here killing each other. I think it's time for this. So everybody on my Facebook Live, I'm with this.
We the black man in Memphis, Tennessee. What you seeing is the men of God.
When the trumpet sound or the prophet start, we touch it down on every corner. Late night and early morning with 100 scriptures for a damn scorner. At the class, we ain't tired yet, watch us roll out like a transformer. Beale Street, here we go again, down in Memphis 10 where we getting it in. Prophesying till we get the win, prophesying till the kingdom won. Ghost rider when I'm hitting camp, where the God fire coming on my tongue. 30 days, we ain't misses none, hitting every city and everywhere. In the winter, we don't give a curve when they call for duty St. Louis stuff.
This a call for the just. Time running out, going hard in the clutch. Ain't nobody else going harder than us. Can't stop, won't stop like a bomb on a bus. Speed. Yeah, pedal to the flow, it don't matter where we go. The word going out, yeah, we gotta let them know if it's a one-way trip, then it's how I gotta go. We put our life on the line. No, you can't break through this line. This for the deaf and the blind. We can't be wasting no time. You better make up your mind. We stay on the grind. We on go while you stalling. Gotta make sure of my calling. We won't lose. Yeah, I know they wanna kill us when they see us, but they really wanna be us cause we do what they don't do. We just do what we supposed to. You can hate if you want to. We produce more fruit like Whole Foods. Yeah, the end will be close to. Many call, but he chose few. From city to city, we making moves. Hit the streets, then we breaking tools. Scripts kicking like taking tools. So much purple. We make the news, repent or die, we don't make the rules.
Blitz, give me your fist, so when they catch 153 big fish. Living millstone, turn around they necktie, still trying to see did it sink that quick. Be a street bullet, stronghold, pull it down, boost to the ground, ranks get forward. And if you at home, sleep what you in this for, cause it ain't no peace till we win this war.
Welcome to the lion's den. Fix your face, you OKC, we on the rise again. We in the scripts and in them streets, the section doctrines in. Hidden history, we teach rebuilding lives again. Love. It's hammer time if you ain't know enough. This the book of our fathers, and yeah, we keep it opened up. I like shine like Bruce Lee, Roy, and show enough. Come up to the prophets, correct, or get cold cut. Them cold cuts.
So if you at home, sleep what you in this for. See, it ain't no peace till you in this war. 6 tied, dead bodies scattered on the floor. Got enough dead brothers, I don't want no more. That's the parable for Egypt and how it all relates back to Memphis. That's why you see the prophets out blitzing with no intermission. IUIC on the mission, so start what you doing, just listen. Don't cut to pay attention. Don't be confused when you catch on the street with a meat that was sin because the Lord seek vengeance. This still waking up the valley of the dry bones with the real Jews coming straight out the trenches. It's a hard knock life, but we out here when it just keep the command. man, stop standing. Only fear was chosen, but when the Lord called,
gotta fight this fight, gotta win this war. When I swing this hammer, gonna hit like Thor. Better get your camera to hit record. Cause it ain't for glamour when I lift this war. This a Memphis blitz, you can get hit quick. We avengers for the nations, dodging the fiery dots of Satan like a ninja in the Matrix. I walk the walk, I talk the talk like Devo, I'm a bullet. Like a lasso stretch, I'ma cast the net, find Nemos and I pull it. I walk the walk, I talk the talk like Devo, I'm a bullet. Like a lasso stretch, I'ma cast the net, find Nemos and I pull it.
No, we not like you, we different disciples. It's not in the Bible, we don't entertain. Not here to fight with you, nor to be tight with you. See that we blitzing, no need to explain. We don't dislike you, we just don't align with you. Tend to your business, acknowledge our lane. Can two walk together unless they agree? When you get this meaning, then you do the same. We out here to wake up our people, don't play with no evil. That don't compute with our brains. We focus on feeding our family these scripts. If this ain't your focus, then we ain't the same. I keep it 180%. You know the camp out here bringing this change. It ain't to diminish the work that y'all do, but you must repent if you seek to be saved.
2020 blitz, in me on fist. So a net catch 153 big fish. Living millstone, turn around they necktie. Still trying to see did it sink that quick. Be a street bullet, stronghold, pull it down, boost to the ground. Ranks getting forward. And if you at home, sleep with you in this floor. Cause it ain't no peace till we win this war. 2020 blitz, in me on fist. So a net catch 153 big fish. Living millstone, turn around they necktie. Still trying to see did it sink that quick. Be a street bullet, stronghold, pull it down, boost to the ground. Ranks getting forward. And if you at home, sleep with you in this floor. Cause it ain't no peace till we win this war.
Is that a bird? Is it a plane? Hey, but they black. Greater than a superhero, yeah, I'm about to take off. I'm a prince from royalty, fly with my cape off. And yeah, I got my power from the king. I'm keeping commandments and I'm staying clean. Israel is the greatest that you ever seen. It ain't no mistake, y'all. Hey, greater than a superhero, yeah, I'm about to take off. I'm a prince from royalty, fly with my cape off. And yeah, I got my power from the king. I'm keeping commandments and I'm staying clean. Israel is the greatest that you ever seen. Ain't no mistake, y'all. Sing the Lord a new song, I'm sending up praises. Y'all's amazing, quicken my spirit so heavenly. Kept me alive for another day, his mercy rains down heavily. Charity making a better me. You ain't thinking repentance, you better be. Wanna make it to heaven and see the king. Can't imagine the kingdom is about to be. 12 gates with the 12 name, 12 foundation, 4 walls round. 12 angels standing at the gate with some kings rocking 12-point crown. I'm just speaking the prophecy, teaching it properly. Jacob, now wake up, return of the Lord. Holy Joseph, that's where you slaying that nation, gon' fall on the glittering sword. Faster than a speeding bullet, we look like a locomotive or a plane. Spiritual X-Men with the power, fighting red juggernauts, that's Cain. Trusting the prophecy, and it came. Stay in the book, but this ain't no comic. Gotta do power, I spit flames. MCU, see how I'm coming. Hawk out with the vision, I'm hooked with the hammer. War machine, and we bringing the damage. Iron Man, we too heavy to handle. We got the light, they can't blow out the candle. Prince of the power with purple rain. Israelite law on my brain. Kal-El, I'm a Superman. I'm in the booth, look at how I change. Greater than a superhero, yeah, I'm about to take off. I'm a prince from royalty, fly with my cape off. And yeah, I got my power from the king. Keeping commandments and I'm staying clean. Israel is the greatest that you ever seen. Ain't no mistake, y'all. I'm greater than a superhero, yeah, I'm about to take off. I'm a prince from royalty, fly with my cape off. And yeah, I got my power from the king. I'm keeping commandments and I'm staying clean. Israel is the greatest that you ever seen. Ain't no mistake, y'all. I'm telling you straight, my nation the greatest that you ever witnessed, and ain't no mistake. Holding my head, yeah, I said what I said. I stand on my word, so clear me some space. I'm taking my place, #1 on the podium. Heathens is salty, they full of their sodium. Earth is ours, yeah, we taking it over. Got spiritual power, word of Jehovah. Hey, hallelujah, I'm sending up praises. Look, it's amazing. Chariot wheel whipping through the atmosphere. Independence Day, whoa, we out of here. Yo, this prophecy properly moving. It's manifest destiny, life is a movie. Heavenly screenwriter with the wordplay, and our life is living what the word say. I endure to the end. I want a reward, a ruler should crown me. I was groping at noonday. I was lost in the dark, yeah, how I can't found me. Now I'm here on a mission. We used to be under derision. I dare them to clown me. Won't hear from the heathen when we in the kingdom. They legacy never be found be. I'm a ministry mover. I used to be out here a loser, but now I'm a changed man. I died in the flesh, but now I'm a god, so now you can call me an X-Man. It's miraculous, marvelous men. Black is the nightmare, can't comprehend. End of the world is just to begin, and move out the wake up the saint coming in. Greater than a superhero, yeah, I'm about to take off. I'm a prince from royalty, fly with my cape off. And yeah, I got my power from the king. Keeping commandments and I'm staying clean. Israel is the greatest that you ever seen. Ain't no mistake, y'all. I'm greater Greater than a superhero, I'm about to take off. I'm a prince from royalty, fly with my cape off. And yeah, I got my power from the king. I'm keeping commandments and I'm staying clean. As real as the greatest that you ever seen. Ain't a mistake, y'all. Ain't a mistake.
So boys, what y'all doing, man? Y'all playing superheroes? What y'all got right there? Who that you got right there? Oh, he's strong, huh? Who is that?
Captain America and Wolverine and Thor and Iron Man.
Okay. What is this? Where y'all get this from? Man, one of these damn evangelists that came over here and gave you some bull crap. What is this? Heavenly Mother. Y'all look, hey, y'all want to learn about some superheroes? Let me show y'all what the real superhero is.
back from the break.
History. Hey, we got the history man on the show.
All right, round of applause.
Round of applause to the history man. Why you giving a round of applause? He didn't do anything yet. He's another mute.
Oh man, here we go. He just had to go and hunt some deer, so he couldn't be on the show.
How you gonna give him applause? He hasn't done anything.
I don't know.
Yeah, he got no show credit or anything like that. He gonna give him a round of applause.
See what happens, man. Leave him alone, man. See what happens.
Hey, do it real quick so the audience can hear who's the singer of the intro.
No.
Come on, hey Deacon, come on, once.
No.
Come on, one. Come on, let's do it.
You don't want to do it, don't do it, man.
Hey.
Well, it's the brother. It's the singer to the introduction of the show. Some of y'all enjoyed the intro to the show. The song is almost done. Album's coming out soon, right?
Yes, sir.
Officer
Abaddon.
Hey, let me hear the people on the show. Hey, you guys want to hear him sing something real quick? From the Officer Abaddon? Hey, do you guys want to hear him real quick? Sing the intro real quick.
Oh, man.
Just a piece of the intro.
Come on, Deacon. Let's go.
What's wrong?
Let's go, man.
I just want to see. There's one more minute. One minute, Deacon. 1 minute. I just want to see what the people. Wait. Okay. Go. Yes. Yeah.
Of course, everybody gonna say yeah. Come on, guys.
Oh, you got to do it, man. You got to do it.
It's only 2 people.
Come on.
Searching for the road to the way back.
Hey, bro, no, you don't know, bro. Do it again. You don't sound like you're into it. You're not passionate. You sound like you're forced, like you have a gun in your head.
He does.
You gotta sound like you're passionate. Sing with some passion.
He says he do have a gun in his head.
Oh man.
You gonna mess him up, man.
Anyway, listen. Real
quick, one second, Deacon.
Come on, man.
Searching for the road.
That's how I was sounding.
We're gonna do it. Let's do it. Let's hear it.
You gonna do it with me?
Yeah.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
Search. Come on, do it. You got it.
Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I forget the rest.
That's good.
All praise.
See, it wasn't bad, right, Deacon?
That wasn't bad. There you go.
All praises.
That wasn't bad. That's good. So, those of y'all want the song, it'll be out soon on the album, so just be patient. We'll get it to you soon. All right, so where we at? We were at, where we at? Yeah, but hold on. I'm gonna go back to where I was at. My mind is somewhere else today. Let me see. Page 40. Who's in the 40s? Hold on. 43, yes. 43. Celtic Iberian. We stopped there. Go to page 46, the caves. Page 46, the caves. We're gonna end at Silly Isles, Silurian.
All right. The caves of Spain, France, and the Britain Isles reveal a formation.
Isles, British Isles, Where we at? See where you're at. The caves. What's at the top? Read again. British Isles. Go ahead.
The caves of Spain, France, and the British Isles reveal a formation of skull somewhat similar to the Iberian. Hence, the learns Thurnham calls the Barrow people Iberian. Some associate the old Ligurians of southern France and northern Italy with the Iberian.
See that? So again, we had the old Ligurians. That's us also. We took over southern. You're going to southern again. Southern France and northern Italy. We had that too. Parts of it. The Phoenicians had South Italy. We had parts of northern Italy as well before the Romans conquered us out of there. Go ahead.
The Iberians answered somewhat to the Hector Mac Lean's Atlanteans. The Rev F.
The Guernsey, the Thackeray.
Thackeray.
I'm sorry, I can't either. Thackeray. Go ahead.
Thackeray thinks the Silurians exhibited marks of a Spanish origin.
They came from Spain.
And were probably the descendants of those who had come over with the Phoenicians and Carthaginians to work in the tin mines of Devonshire and Cornwall.
See that? So it's undeniable that the Silurians were descendants of the Carthaginians. These are Israelites, hands down, with fringes on. We read that earlier in Phoenician Ireland. Go ahead. And they gathered tin from these areas and sold them to the Syrians and Arabians. Go ahead.
Solinus of old, especially termed the Scilly Isles, Silurian.
Right. Where we at? We stop there? Yep, that's it. Go to page 47 now. The Dr. Bedeau. And we're going to end at Curly.
Dr. Bedeau, to whom the anthropologist owes so much, has not passed over the Iberian Welsh. Looking at the Paris collection of skulls, he remarked, the form of M.
Broca's
Basque
crania
was very much that some modern Silurian heads.
You found their heads, skulls. Go ahead.
When on the Danish Isles of Moen, he met with one he thus describes.
Watch this, a skull. Watch this.
Swarthy, his eyes dark and obliquely set, his hair dark, thick, and curly.
So on the Danish Isle of Moen, he met with one he thus describes as swarthy, meaning black, his eyes dark and obliquely set, his hair dark, thick, and curly. And he came across Silurians. Go ahead.
Seeing a likeness to some primitive skulls of Borabai and Moen, he asked, was he in truth a descendant of...
All was curly. All one was curly.
Okay.
It's curly. So now, let's get page 48. Page 48.
Who does that? Studying them skull.
Yes, they do.
People know.
It's like the movie Django. And Senor Candy had the skull, Big Ben.
The devil, man.
48. Watch this. It's going to get heavier. Page 48. And we're going to start at the short.
The short and stout build, the round and comely
physiognomy.
Physiognomy.
That's how they look. Go ahead.
Dark and curly hair.
Here we go again. Dark and curly hair. Go ahead.
And dark eyes, giving a type of countenance almost Jewish.
Oh, almost Jewish. Almost Jewish. Watch
Why
this.
they always do that?
Almost. No, it gets better. Esau plays lie and truth at the same time. Watch.
So often to be met with here powerfully suggests a foreign origin. In Ireland, this led many to ascribe a Spanish origin to some in the West.
Watch this.
In Wales, the dark feature has been thought to be from a migration of some of the 10 lost tribes.
See that? So their dark features come from them being Israelites or from Israel. They were Israelites. They're trying to be sick and say, oh, they were white, but then Israel came over and made them dark. Which still cuts them because the Jews are black anyway. But they were dark because they were the 10 tribes. They were of the 10 tribes, and then the Celts or Judah and them came over later on and established other subdivisions of the same people under different titles. Okay, go ahead. No, is that all I want? 10 lost tribes. Keep going. We're gonna end at Karaticus. Keep going.
Interesting speculations have been raised upon the supposition, and pleasant dreams have been cherished about the discovery of the chosen people of God amidst the hills of Siluria.
See that? The chosen people of God found in the hills of Siluria, because these are the same people. They are Israelites. Go ahead.
A difficulty here has arisen. The great majority of hunters for the Jewish blood in Britain have preferred to adopt the Saxon type as the descendants of the lost tribes.
Oh my gosh. The Saxon type of the lost tribes. The Saxons are the lost tribes of Israel. Go ahead.
A few have inclined to the Celt, and some have advocated the
Kimri goes back to a book I had before where it mentions that the name Kimri goes back to King Omri of Northern Kingdom. There's a book I brought out, I can't remember what it was, where it mentions that Kimri goes back to King Omri. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on a second. I might have it on top. Hold on. I might have it on top. Give me 1 minute. If I have it, I'll have to tell you to go there real quick. Kimri. Go to Phoenician origin, page 147. About the Kimri.
Just a detail in history trying to unravel all the various names that Northern Kingdom took on is very difficult. We were everywhere.
Right.
We were everyone pretty much.
Because some Kimri they say some Kimri goes back to the Chimerians as in Japheth, and some scholars say it goes to Kimri as in Omri. So it's, but let me see something. If it's lost tribes, it gotta be definitely Kimri, as in that's it? Yeah, but bottom part. Hold on a second. It says the Kimri, not tapped in Kimri, it goes back to Welsh people, a Celtic nation, an ethnic group native to Wales, Welsh people. And it says here in the bottom, it says Scottish people, English people, Irish, Celts, Britons. Hold on. Typed in Kimri. I'm gonna go back. 1 second. Kimri people go back to Welsh. I type in Kimri, it goes back to Welsh. Yup, Wales is spelt, could be spelt Kimri or Kimri. Hold on. You got it there? Go to Wikipedia real quick. Go to Wikipedia real quick. Type in Wales. The laws, this is the lost 10 tribes got over there. Let me see if I can find Kimri. Find CMRY. Yeah, it says Southern Eastern. Type in Kimri, CYMRY. Finding page, CYMRY. I may have to go back to it. Let me see. I typed in Kimri. It took me back to Wales. Kimri. Irish pedigrees. Right. It says from in Germany. Go to dictionary.com. Dictionary.com. Go there instead. Dictionary.com. It says the Welsh, or the branch of Celtic people to which the Welsh belong, comprising also the Cornish people, for which the Silurians were. CYMRY. What did it say there? It says the Welsh. You got it?
The Welsh, or the branch of Celtic people.
The Welsh goes back to the people who dwelt in Wales. When you dwelt in Wales, you were referred to as being Welsh. Go ahead.
To which the Welsh belong, comprising also to the Cornish people, Cornish people, and the
Britons.
Britons.
Right, Britons, that's some Saxons. So now go to that book I have you go to before. We're going to read the origin of the word Kimri. Remember, it's the lost 10 tribes resided in these areas, right? The lost 10 tribes resided in these areas. We brought this out weeks ago. So the term Kimri may, in fact, come from this word here, what they're calling this book here, and a few others. But I'll leave it open-ended because it may very well be something else, but I've come across this source a lot.
The bottom part, right?
Yeah, the bottom part.
The only ancient Israelite kings of which there appears to be any epigraphic or contemporary record
it's written. Go ahead.
Are Jehu, son of Kimri.
Son of who?
Kimri.
Son of Kimri. Go ahead.
Which latter name is supposed to be Omri of the Old Testament.
See that? So the lost 10 tribes came over. They named that area Omri or Kimri after that king, Northern Kingdom. So they were definitely there. But I'll leave it open-ended because Kimri may go, it goes back to the word, I think, Cambridge or Cambrian, I believe.
And Dick, if you look at the bottom, who is mentioned in the tribute list of the Assyrian king of Shalmaneser II. That's the same thing when you read in Second Esdras about them coming over.
Right,
So
exactly.
It's definitely had something to do with the 10 tribes.
Right, something to do with the 10 tribes. So it says Kimri definition, the Brythonic branch of Celtic people comprising present-day Welsh, Cornish. Right, Kimri. Right, going back to, hold on a second. Let me just get some more information on that. Hold on. It's used to describe the land, not the people. It goes back to Cambria or Cambrian. Cumberland, Cambria. Romans referred to lands in Britain's southwest as Cambria, and then the north as Cumbria. Note, while the lands in the middle were Kimri. Yep, so that's the same thing. That's where the name comes from. Romans borrowed it, named it Cambria, Cumbria, Cambrian. That's where it comes from. All right, Cambria, Cambrian. I got a book called Cambrian also, which goes into the Silurians as well, so what you're going to use today. That's all I want. So Kimri may, in fact, go back to Omri, or Kimri, the king of Northern Kingdom. All right, and Omri was evil as hell. We went over that weeks ago as well. So let's go back. So lost 10 tribes are definitely on this side of the world. Definitely. It's just like Yoruba goes back to Jeroboam. Yoruba is Jeroboam. It's the same thing. We had a habit of doing that. Yoruba is Jeroboam, King Jeroboam. Northern Kingdom over there as well. So where are we at in page 48?
A few have inclined.
Go ahead, continue.
A few have inclined to the Celt, and some have advocated to the Kimri.
The Kimri, or go ahead, the same thing, go ahead.
Thus, Celts, Saxons, or Teutons, and the more ancient Iberians.
So what? The Celts, Saxons, and Teutons. This is Southern Kingdom and Northern Kingdom, different names, titles. And Teutons, go ahead.
Are all alike selected for their supposed identity with Israel.
Damn. There you go. It says supposed. It's not supposed. It's what it is. They are Israelites. Not supposed. Then why is it supposed? Because they see, okay, these guys have fringes. They keep these customs. That these Israelites. Well, Esau gonna say, nah, supposed. No, it is. They all these guys, Saxons, Celts, Teutons, which later on became white folks, later on over time conquering us, were originally Israelites who intermingled with who? The Etruscans, Japheth, and so forth, and took over parts of the lands until Esau took over, conquered both of us, and pushed Japheth out. Okay?
Hey, Dick, and that's crazy because we pretty much took over the whole world, yet we have to search deep to actually find a lot of stuff about us. Like just like we read on Job 9 that they cover the faces of the saints thereof.
Right, exactly.
So we gotta do a diligent search ourselves to actually find all this stuff, like for us, because it's hard. A lot of the stuff that actually I've been trying to look or find on the Americas, every book that I keep on finding is always in Spain or in Europe and all that, but yet I can't find those books over here.
Right, exactly. We'll read on. Watch this.
In Europe, America, and Asia, about 300 million have been ranged by one or another under the heads of heirs of Abraham.
Damn. Go ahead.
There can then be no objection to include less than a million of Silurian Welsh.
A million of Silurian Welsh. Go ahead.
The dark-eyed Silurian or Iberian is a typical Welshman.
It's a typical Welshman. People of Wales. We're black. Go ahead.
He has the Welsh fire, energy, poetry, and enthusiasm. He is who has displayed patriotic fervor from the days of his great ancestor Caraticus.
So Caraticus is a very important figure who we'll go into later on. Caraticus. He was a dark-eyed Silurian. The great ancestor is Caraticus, who comes out of the Silurians. We'll get to that. Caraticus. Remember that book I brought out where it says the Silurians were hardy folk? I brought that out 2 weeks ago about them being referred to as, as hardy folk. Now, let's get ancient Britons. Page 156, just to get more clarity on the Silurians. All right. Ancient, modern. I got a lot of stuff. This ain't for mine. This is Jezbo. He got stuff in here I ain't even have mine. I'm about to keep his. Nah, I'm just joking. But I want page 156, right? Yes, sir. Yeah, we're gonna start at what's. Is that underlined? No, that's all right. We're gonna start at what it says now. Nope. Hold on. Start from further all.
Further. Where is that?
To the bottom, next to witches. Further, all right there. We're going to read
Okay.
all the way down to, we're going to stop at place. I'll read along with you. Go ahead.
Further, all these names remind one that the earliest forms of the words Morus, more, etc., or
Cores,
Cars, car,
etc.,
formerly touched upon are closely associated with the sea and marshlands, as well as with the swarthy tribes.
They designate. So you had tribes referred to as Moors in the marshlands or lands. These lands are referred to as Moors. This is not talking about Africa. This is in Europe here. You don't watch this? Because remember, Israel resided in North Africa, to Carthage and all that area, Mauritania, it's all the same area. They migrated upwards into Britain and Ireland and gave those lands the same names. We don't watch this.
The Welsh tales.
The Welsh tales or tales of Wales. Go ahead.
It has been said, are full of black giants.
Go ahead. Black giants. Black giants. Go ahead.
Against whom the Arthurians warriors fought.
These are tales that were spoken among the tribes that were there. They told tales. Some were fabricated, some were based upon truth, or mixed together as one. So this is Arthurian. This is black giants. Keep that in mind. Black giants. Go ahead.
An inference from this is that Arthur's followers were white.
No, they were not. Keep going.
Because the blackness of their foes would not have been
particularized
had they been of the same hue themselves.
Go ahead.
Now, the author of history is...
Wait. You'll read this slowly. Now what?
Now, the author of history is said to have been himself of
Swarthy. Swarthy means black. Go ahead.
Silurian blood.
Stop. So King Arthur was a Silurian, and he was of Swarthy. So he was black. King Arthur was of Silurian blood. He was a Silurian.
Do we still have the image of him?
Of King Arthur? There's no image of him. There's only a description.
No, so that wasn't...
That was the description. They said they found a relief of him with locks and a broad nose. Remember, the Silurians had twists in their hair and they were dark. Doesn't give it. They have it, but they don't have it. They have not released it.
Okay.
They found a sketch of him in stone. They said he had Negro features with locks or twisted hair like the Silurians had and black features. That's what they didn't release it. I think it's somewhere in England, somewhere like that. But they did find his gravesite. I'm getting to that. Read now again. Now,
the author of history.
Stop. The author of history. The author of history. There's two authors. Remember Job 9:24? 9:24. The author of history, go ahead,
is said to have been himself of swarthy,
black,
Silurian blood.
Silurian blood. Go ahead.
But the author of romance.
There's two authors. There's an author of history, and there's an author of that's been romanticized. Romantic meaning a fable, like a fairy tale, a romance. Go ahead.
Has never been wholly identified with him.
Not the same author. Go ahead.
And indeed, he is altogether difficult to localize in time and place.
No, he's not. We're gonna find him. Now, for this writer it was, but for us it wasn't. Let's get J.A.
It's the same thing they did with St. Nicholas.
Yes.
It's the same thing, exact
Saint
thing.
Nick.
The thing.
Yes, Saint Nick. Yep. Same thing they did.
They romanticized St. Nick's history.
With Christmas and stuff. Exactly.
Same thing they did with King Arthur.
I got bad news for y'all. The whole Knights of the Round Table thing and Excalibur,
never existed.
That's romanticized.
Damn.
That's not true.
These guys are the devil, man.
I'm gonna give y'all some good news. The romanticized stories were originally created by our people, because King Arthur was. We're gonna explain why he was so glorified and romanticized as he was. And the stories we told were the knights were all black. They weren't white. Like one of his men was Sir Thomas More. That was one of King Arthur's of the Round Table's men. They were all black. You had the black romanticized version, and then you have the white romanticized, where they whitewashed the black romanticized stories. So they whitewashed our romanticized stories of King Arthur. Okay? The Excalibur, no. Knights of the Round Table? No. King Uther Pendragon, his father? No, not real. Queen Guinevere, his wife? No. Lancelot? No.
Damn.
Nope. They're like, damn, no. Romanticized.
I can't enjoy the King Arthur movie anymore.
So, right, no, you can. No. You can. You can. To an extent. The reason why I'm going to show y'all why his sword was so much glorified. The sword. Why? Now, let's get J.A. Rogers. Nature Knows the Color Line. Y'all can have that one. J.A. Rogers, you've been using that for years. J.A. Rogers.
Excellent scholar.
Yeah, he was. We're going to read page. Shout outs to Jez for showing me this today on the way here. That brother always finding stuff. Page 71. I'm using his book. That won't have mine. Page 71.
Ancient Welsh.
Hold on.
Okay.
Let me get there with you. And I got to find where it mentions Sir Thomas More, too. Hold on. To give an idea. 72. I believe Sir Thomas More is mentioned somewhere in his book. See, in my book, I have him underlined. Let me see if Jazz has him. Hold on. In this book, it mentions Sir Thomas More. I don't know if y'all can find it for me, but it mentions Sir Thomas More in this book. Hold on a second. Jews and Moors. If those online know where it is, y'all can post it as well. We'll get page 71 for now. I don't want to waste time. But I will find it. Hold on. And the way it's written, it might be, what page is this? 87? Might be in 90s. Hold on. So I didn't bring my book this time. Blackamore. It mentions Sir Thomas More by name. Wait. Othello. He was definitely black. Go ahead, Chase. Say something, Cap. Oh. You got no choice, bro. I'm going to find that. Sir Thomas. I know you're tired, but you got to say something so I find this thing. No blank space.
The quap? You're on.
Sorry, Don, you're on.
All right. Now, since we keep on finding about people actually being dark and black people, now imagine like the effect that would take on our people today, right? Because they pretty much erased everything about us. Like we were great people, and also, even on this side of the earth. Actually, I can relate more to this side of the earth. Because over there, we keep on reading how they keep on whitewashing everything, even on this side of the earth. Let's say now when it comes down to Quetzalcoatl, I don't know if you remember the classes before, and all the kings or supposedly the gods that we were worshiping, now Esau be portraying them as white. As white, but yet we can actually, like, once you go back and read, we always find out that they were dark-skinned, that they were black. But yet, within time, they keep on changing everything. I was talking to Deacon earlier about the first president, Afro-American president or Afro-descendant. He was, well, yeah, you can tell he was black. But now, within time, they put him as white. So they keep on changing everything. So imagine now because down south, I'm talking about down south in South America, Central America, there's a thing called colorism, where they push that white thing so much that they don't want to look back and think about, what we were great warriors, we were dark-skinned warriors, we were black and so forth. Now they push that aside and they lean more towards the, let's say the King Arthur, they like that romanticized white stuff.
Right.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Don.
Thank you.
Take over.
Thank you.
Take over. Take
over. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Give us some time. Get page 71. You did a good job.
We appreciate
You did better than Cap. See, Cap is all tired and all. He didn't do a damn thing, man.
Deke, I just had a baby girl born.
I don't care, man.
I'm tired, Deke.
You gotta be happy, man.
Yes, sir.
Page 71.
Mercy, Deacon.
That's all right. I understand. Page 81. Thank you. That's from the chat.
Yeah.
Thank you, all. Thank you.
It was Esdras ben Israel. Thank you, Esdras.
Thank you, Esdras. Okay, page 81. And among the families. 81. You don't have 81? No, sir. All right, well, read 71 first.
Here,
Read 71 first.
Let me send it to him.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to read page 71. In the meantime, read that.
Ancient Welsh folktales certainly do mention black people, unmistakably Negroes.
Stop. Ancient Welsh folktales certainly do mention black people, unmistakably Negroes. There's no denying this is black people. Go ahead.
In the story of Peridor.
So here's one story, one folktale of Negroes mentioned. In the story of who?
Peridor and the Mabinogion.
Mabinogion, right, whatever. Go ahead.
The blacks mentioned therein might be Silurians.
Might be what?
Silurians.
Might be Silurians. Might be Silurians. The blacks mentioned therein might be Silurians. Go ahead.
Another ancient Welsh poem. God Lud
Emor.
Tales of rivalry between white and black. Ma and Moore.
Right, Ma and Moore. All right, so white. It says Gwad Lud Emor tells the rivalry between white and black. Read the next one there.
Rome had Negroes, Ethiopians, and her armies in Britain.
So you have black people in Roman armies, including Cornelius. Including Cornelius. I know you guys thought white folks is only this all-white army in Rome. No, Jake was in them too.
Just like there's all white folks in America's army.
Exactly. Simple. Anyway, yeah. Go to page 72 now. What page is that? Go to 72.
And they don't realize it was part of the Roman tactics to, when they conquered a nation of people, they integrated them into the army. That's everybody's. That's all armies. War tactics. It just wasn't one race of people.
Right.
That's common sense.
Remember the movie Gladiator? I showed y'all 2 weeks ago about how Juba, the character played by Jamon Hansuo, was a Numidian. But he was found as a slave on the salt mines of Carthage, where he was Numidian, right? Read Sir William Smith.
Sir William Smith says the Moors were known in the Alexandria dialect as blacks.
As blacks. And the Alexandrian dialect as blacks. Go ahead.
And that the Moors must not be considered a different race from the Numidians.
Because the Numidians and Moors were the same people. They were black people, Negroes. Go ahead. Atgir
says that to the Greeks, Romans, and Gauls,
white Gauls, go ahead.
The Moors were known as the black people.
The Moors are known as the black people. Come on, man. It's just common sense. Read on.
The word Mauritania,
He adds.
The word Mauritania and inhabited by black populations.
So the word Mauritania inhabited by black populations, go ahead.
And was later called
Negritia. So Mauritania was later called Negritia. Go ahead.
Or Negro land.
Or Negro land. Or Igbo land. It's the same people. And Igbo go back to Hebrew land, Israelite land. It's the same place. Later on referred to as the Maghreb. Or Bildad El Sudan, the land of the blacks, by the Arabs. I think it's Bildad or something El Sudan, the land of the black. Sudan means black. So it's common. It's common. And Israel inhabited these areas. Mauritania goes back to the word mortis. Go back to the word Moor. Black people. Now go to page 81 now. Negro land, Negritia, Igbo land, same thing. Page 81, read among the families.
Okay. Among families named Moore or Moore.
So the last time you see like white folks walking around, my last name is Moore, Morrison. That's not their names. Those are our last names we gave ourselves in Europe. Moore, Morrison, Morristown. Moorshire. We named those places those things. That was from us. Morrison, that's from us. Then Esau took over and said, I'm Morrison. I'm Schwarzenegger. How damn white man last name black nigga, he white? I mean, no damn sense. It's insane. Schwarzenegger. Go ahead, read again.
Among families named Moore or Moore are some very distinguished ones as Sir Thomas More, great Lord Chancellor of Henry VIII, and author.
He was black. That was King James family line. Go ahead.
And author of Utopian.
Go ahead.
His coats of arms shows a thick-lipped Moor, clearly of Negro ancestry.
Oh boy. Go ahead.
His arms are also those of the Moor of Yorkshire.
Yorkshire. Or the Shires, Devonshire, anything Shire is Jake. Shire is Jake. Go ahead.
Another which the same is Sir John Moore, hero and Corona.
Go ahead.
Among other Moors, which Negro heads are those of London.
Negro heads are those of, we ruled that. London.
Berkshire. Kent.
We ruled that.
Canterbury.
We ruled that. Wiltshire.
Suffolk.
Like Suffolk, New Jersey. Suffolk.
Derbyshire.
Ireland.
And many others, including some mentioned in Burke's peerage as the Earls of Drogheda.
So this is not what I want. It mentions about he was of the Knights of the Round Table, something like that. But Sir Thomas More is named as one of the Knights of the Round Table, which is fine.
I'll look for it.
It's somewhere in there.
Let me see.
I don't know where it is. I know it mentions about Thomas the Knights. The Knights.
That's it. That was page 81.
That's it. That's fine.
It's 71.
I know it mentions something about Knights Round Table somewhere in there. We'll get to it. We'll go back to it. Where we at? Go back to
check page 71. See what it says.
71. You read that already, but it might be in there. Where we at? Go to
so
page
73. No, 3 pages. 80, 81, and 71.
Try 80. This is not in my class. That's why we're doing this. So going back. I'm sorry about that. I'm just trying to throw some gems in there for y'all. That's why I'm just kind of going off top. It mentions the round table. Who texted me? You see it in 80? Is it 80?
I'm looking right now.
It mentions like in a paragraph, like a short paragraph. If not, we'll move on. That's no big deal. You can go to J. Rogers now. Go to J. Rogers. Did we go there already?
Yeah, this is J. Rogers.
Page 71, 72. All right, no, go to the images now. Go to the image. It mentions preliminary remarks. Page 7.
Yes, sir.
I want that, and we're gonna start it. We're gonna read whatever the hell I have highlighted. I don't know what's in there. It's been a while since I went over this.
It's Captain Carson, Negroes and Culture on Queen Elizabeth. What page is this? Page 76.
Shot 76. I know it's in there. I just don't remember where. It mentions the Knights of the Round Table, something like that. I'm off the top of my head from what I remember. I know it's in that book. I don't remember where though.
The Negroes and Coats of Armor, noble families, Henry VII, British families, top left, the Moors of Yorkshire, including Sir
Thomas that already.
More,
Yorkshire.
Chancellor of Henry VIII.
That's James Thomas. Sir Thomas More there.
Yeah, but it doesn't talk about the Knights of the Round
It
Table.
mentions Knights in that book somewhere. Look for Knights in the back index. Read there in the meantime. Read there what you got. Let's highlight it. Read the highlight parts.
Zoom in a little.
What page is that? Oh, that's the preliminary, right? Yeah, I saw one. Reach off from there. Sir Thomas Mallory.
Sir Thomas Mallory was the author of compiler of this work, or compiler of this work.
Go ahead.
According to Oldies, some seems to have compiled it out of several manuscripts written in the French and Welsh tongues, respecting King Arthur and his knights.
Respecting King Arthur and his knights. Now we did have knights, but he didn't have. How about it this way? King Arthur didn't have knights. It was a round table. He did have men under him, but they weren't knights. Read down. It is remarkable.
It is remarkable that Caxton was at first very unwilling to print this work, because he doubted whether such a person as Arthur ever existed.
This book is $1,000. It's 1,000 and it's old and it's $1,000. Donations, y'all. We can use it. We'll use it. I will use it. And I know there's more here than just this, but this is what we got out of it. So all I got was a screenshot. It is what? Remarkable what?
It is remarkable that Caxton was at first very unwilling to print this work because he doubted whether such a person as Arthur ever existed.
We read earlier that in terms of King Arthur's place and time, we don't know. That was the last book we read earlier, so they were uncertain. But we found books where they did find King Arthur, and he was a real person. Go ahead.
And it is amusing to read the arguments by which he was persuaded of the existence of that noted monarch. The modern reader, however, need not be told that the author of history
who was what? Who was swarthy of Silurian blood. Go ahead.
And the author of romance.
And the author of the romanticized stories, the Round Table, the Excalibur, the sword, woman of the lake. All of that stuff, author of his father, Uther Pendragon, all of that stuff, go ahead.
Are very different
personages. Are different people. Different legends. But he was a real person. Now, go to page 104. It's called The Life of King Arthur. It's page 104, you should see on top. You should see 104 on top of the image. The page itself.
So Merlin also.
Merlin, all of that is romanticized. Merlin, he was a mage. Right. He made the sword out of all that's romantic. It sound good. Right. It sound great.
Damn.
But it ain't real. That's it, 104. Start from there, where it's underlined. It is.
It is known to be. It is to be known also that the discovered bones of Arthur.
The what?
The discovered bones of Arthur.
The discovered bones of Arthur. Go ahead.
Were.
Next page, 105.
So large.
Were so large. Go ahead.
That also the saying of the post might appear to be might appear to be fulfilled in these sayings.
So we're going to read what it says about his body. Now, it's kind of hard to understand the way it's written, so I'm going to try my best to interpret, but it does go into how big he was. Watch. I'm going to try to interpret what I understand. Y'all can read it. Y'all can screenshot this and read it for yourselves. Bring it up some. You read that already. Bring it right there. Right there.
For his thigh bones being put by that of the tallest man.
Remember it said black giants. We read that earlier. Black giants that King Arthur fought against. He didn't fight against black giants. He was one. He may have fought against his own people because the Silurians were big and some were really short because they mixed themselves with who? The Etruscans that were short and dark. So some were really short and dark. Some were big and massive like he was. Read it again.
For his thigh bones being put by that of the tallest man of the place.
His thigh bones were put by the tallest man. Dang. His thigh bone. Dang. The thigh bone. Go ahead.
Whom also the abbot showed to us. And fixed to
the abbot is the monk, because his bones are inside of a monastery. And you have monks that protect the remains of the bodies in the monastery. So the abbot, I believe, is the priest or the monk that showed this archaeologist his bones. Go ahead.
And fixed to the earth close by the foot of that man.
Right. Go ahead.
It reached full 3 fingers beyond his knee. The bone also of his head, as it were compacious and thick to a prodigy or shoe. So
let me read it with you.
Okay.
Where we at? 104, right?
The bone.
Give me a second. Let me read it with you. So I want to make sure you read it clear. I'm sorry. One of the words are a bit complex.
The bone.
Some of them I can't understand the words they were saying. Hold on.
Can you zoom in a little too?
Yeah, zoom in some more. Let me get there with you. I'll read along with y'all. Hold on a second. What time is it? You'll say I got time. No. 104, 105, right? 105. All right. Go ahead. For his thigh bone, start again.
Okay. Go up.
For his thigh bone.
For his thigh bone being put by that of the tallest man of the place.
Right.
Whom also the abbot showed to us.
The abbot's the priest, the monk. Go ahead.
And fixed to the earth close by the foot of that man.
Go ahead.
It reached full 3 fingers beyond his knee.
Go ahead.
The bone also of his head, as it were capacious and thick, to a prodigy or
Hold
shoe.
on. Capacious means capacious. Capacious means having a lot of space inside. Roomy is big. He had a big head. Having a lot of space inside or roomy. Capacious. Go ahead. So it was big and thick. His head was big and thick. Go ahead. His skull. Go ahead.
To a prodigy or shoe, so that between the hair of the eyelids,
So between the hair of his eyelids, go ahead.
and between the eyes,
And between his eyes, and between the eyes, go ahead.
the space would fully contain a handbreadth.
So his head was so big, you could fit one hand between his eyes. So this is your hand here, his eyes here, his eyes here. This is his head. He was big.
Why?
At the movie, the show we had, there's a show, the animated show is called, you know what I'm talking about, with the Vikings. Vinland Saga. There's a character, black characters, named Thorkel. Thorkel, he's whitewashed. These are black Vikings. I might go into that later on in time. Those are our people too. Thorkel, Thorfinn, Thors, the Vinland's the Americas. They're called the Thor something Vikings. But Thorkel, when you watch it, there's an animated show called Vinland Saga. That's Jake. And it's Jake fighting Jake. And one of the characters in the show is a descendant of King Arthur. Okay? I forgot his name. He's like a good guy, bad guy, whatever. But you have Thorfinn and you have his uncle. His name is Thorkel. And he was mad big, huge, big dude. So that's the example I got when I watched that show. That's King Arthur. Because that's all the same lineage. That's all them. Okay? So this guy was so big. So we're like, so you think Shaq is big? No. This man was huge. Read again.
So that between the hair of the eyelids and between the eyes, the space would fully contain a handbreadth.
A handbreadth. Go ahead.
There appeared in it.
In his head, that big head of his. Go ahead.
However, 10 wounds or more.
So people aim for his head because he was so big. He's so huge that people would aim for his head. So he got a lot of scars in his head. Watch this.
All which except one greater than the rest.
But there was one big one greater than all the other scars in the skull, on the head, or the skull. Go ahead.
Which had made a large gap.
Which made a large gap. Go ahead.
And which alone seemed to have been mortal.
Meaning he died from that one. So someone got him in the head. Go ahead.
Had come together into a solid
cicatrice.
Cicatrice.
Let me see what that word means. I think that goes into a large scar. Let me see. Cicatrice. Cicatrix. It's scar of a healed wound. So it's the scar healed, but he died from it. So it was a big, deep wound in his head, and it healed, but I guess he died eventually from that wound. I guess he died eventually. There's a cicatrix.
So it seemed like they think he was immortal.
Pretty much. So this guy was huge. Huge. You could fit your hand between his freaking eyes. That's crazy big. It's like a bear. But you put your hand between a bear's eyes. They're massive. Why'd I mention a bear? We'll get to that.
Oh, damn.
Go to the next one. Go to page 132. Same thing, 132 now. Cicatrix. Wow. I ain't no Negro word. Cicatrix. Page 132 now.
Zoom in a little more.
You found it? Should be a blue underline. I can't even see it.
Yeah, he's run up. There you go. I omit to speak to Arthur.
Of Arthur.
Of Arthur, the famous king of the Britons. In the cemetery of the monks.
Of the abbot, same thing. Go ahead.
Of Glastonbury.
Glastonbury. Go ahead.
Between two pyramids, interred with
his wife.
So
he was buried in the pyramids. Because Jake builds pyramids. Look at the Maccabees. They were buried in 7 pyramids. King Arthur and his wife were built in 2 pyramids, one next to the other. Okay? 2 pyramids. They were buried between 2 pyramids. Between 2. Because I read somewhere, I think it says that she was buried, she's found under him. Like his body's on top, hers on the bottom, under him, if I'm not mistaken. They were buried in between 2. The 2 represent her and him. And they were in between the pyramids. Okay? I didn't bring that book, but it mentions them being buried together. Him and his wife. I don't know how she lay with that. That's insane. She must have been big too. She could have been small. Huh?
15 minutes.
All right. So now, yeah, exactly. Let's go to book 3. Image book 3. It says on top of it. Book 3. It should say it is more. Of England. Book 3 of England. It should say it is more. I'm going to show you that he existed. I'm going to prove he existed in this. It is more. It's very small font, so you got to just. Yes, sir. Engrave open. Stop at grave opened. This is called History of England. This book is expensive also. It is more engrave opened.
Okay.
Go ahead. I didn't even have the whole thing. I want the whole thing of this. I don't know if I can have it. I should have it. I should have it. It might be in here. Go ahead. Keep going. It says it is more certain.
It is more certain that wherever he was wounded or died, his body was transported to
Glastonbury.
Glastonbury.
You just read that earlier in Glastonbury. This is a different book. Go ahead.
Where there were an old church in such
high veneration. Where a monk was or the abbot was protecting it. Go ahead.
That the corpse of Saint, what does that say?
I don't know. Whatever his name was. And other British saints. Go ahead.
And other British saints, as likewise of several princes who had died in Wales.
Several princes who died in Wales. Go ahead.
Or other
distant
places were transported
thither. There, go ahead.
And where they're buried near the church between the two pyramids.
See, between the two pyramids. Go ahead.
As Malmsbury, I can't see it. Describes the place.
Enlarge it.
Thank you. Describes the place. Some years before the grave was over to the right.
Before the grave was what?
Over to the before the grave was opened.
Stop there. Before the grave was opened. Stop there. Let me see. Go down to the bottom. I don't know why I said stop there. Let me go back to it. Hold on. Let me see if I go back to it. Hold on. Opened. Some feet lower. No, read down there. Read that too. Some feet lower.
Okay.
Go down the bottom.
Some feet lower in the ground than this stone was discovered a wooden coffin, in which lay the body of a very big made man.
That's big Arthur. Go ahead.
Answerably to the general opinion of Arthur's strength.
Go back. So that's why he was so strong, because he was huge. Read the middle here. That's not. It said the songs made in his honor. Go back. That's the middle part. That's not highlighted. The songs made to prove it's him. Watch
Where
this.
Is that at?
Right. It says grave was opened right there. The songs made in his honor. Right. Read this.
The songs made. I still don't see where's the songs made. Okay. The songs made in his honor by the bards and sung also
sung all over Wales.
All over Wales.
Where?
You gotta zoom out a little bit. All over Wales.
Where Henry II.
Where Henry II heard them as he passed through the country on his Irish expedition. Taking notice of his being interred at
Glastonbury,
raised the curiosity of that king.
So he was amazed. He heard the songs sung of King Arthur in that area. Go ahead.
And drew from him an order at the latter end of his reign to have a search made for Arthur's body.
Right. So he heard songs of King Arthur in that area. So he went to have his body searched to see if he was there. Go ahead.
This was done about 1189, when after digging
7 feet
underground.
7 foot underground. Go ahead.
Zoom in a little bit, not too much.
I'll read it. Okay. A broad gravestone was found. in the upper part of which nothing appeared, but there was inserted in the lower across all across all of lead, with their words engraved on it on a cross. His jacket, Sepultus Inclitus Rex Arthurus in Unsula Avalonia. It says the modesty of the inscription so suitable to the simplicity of those times, and so very different from the pompous titles ascribed to Arthur in the forged seals affixed to a spurious charter, which some pretend he granted to the University of Cambridge, is a strong presumption of its being genuine and engraved at the time of his funeral, before any of the legends were framed, before the romanticized stories came about. It says, were framed, which have destroyed the memory of his real actions. In the romanticized stories destroyed his real actions, what he really did, by substituting in their stead a heap of romantic stories, and a series of imaginary conquests, inconsistent with the undoubted circumstances of the British affairs. But the part that says his jacket, Sepultus Inclitus Rex Arthurus in Unsula Avalonia, means Rex, I think it means rest Arthurus in heaven. Avalonia is heaven, Avalon, and Arthurus is his name. So that's what is written on the cross in lead on the gravesite. That's Latin. I don't understand what that is. I know what Rex is Arthurus in Unsula Avalonia. That's heaven, Avalon. I know. So it's Arthur in heaven. Here lies Arthur in heaven, pretty much. That's what they found. And the huge bones of a man inside between these two pyramids in Glastonbury. And King Henry II wanted to see it. Is that where he's buried at? I heard songs of him in this area. Let's find and see. And they found that. And that's what this archaeologist that book of it earlier, he knew where to go to find those same bones, and that priest or that monk pointed out to him. Here he goes. Here's his head. He's mad big. Put your hand between his head. He's big. All right? So now, Rex means, thanks, Bishop. Rex means king. Rex Arthurus. King Arthur. So here lies King Arthur. King Rex Arthurus. Thank you, Bishop. King Arthurus. Rex. I don't understand Latin. Oh, shoot. I'm black, man. Shit, I don't damn Latin language. That language is dead. Shoot. Where we at? How long time I got left? Like 5 minutes? 10 minutes. All right. So I'm going hold on a second. Read go to the next one. Book 3. Might be going ahead. I don't care. No, it's book 3 again of England. It's another one. It says the famous author. It's underlined in blue. Yes, sir. The Britons of those parts supplied to their friends and allies for assistance. Succors came to them from all quarters.
Zoom in a little.
The hell is this? Why did it go out? You're right here. Yep. The Britons of those parts. Go up a little bit. Up. Right there. The Britons of those parts. Right there. Applied to their friends.
The Britons of those parts applied to their friends and allies for assistance. Succors
comforts. Go ahead.
Came to them from all quarters.
Watch this.
The famous Arthur, marching with a body of the hardy race.
Of the what?
Of the hardy race.
Remember the hardy folk. Hardy folk. Hardy race, go ahead. Of being brave, go ahead.
Of the Silurians.
So King Arthur marched with his hardy men of Silurians, go ahead.
To the relief of the place, raised the siege, and by his incomparable valor routed Cerdic in a bloody battle.
Go ahead.
With the slaughter of such a multitude of Saxons.
We were fighting each other, Saxons. So you had King Arthur fighting other big black men like him. So we were fighting each other. You know, black people stuff. Black on black crime in Dark Ages. Go ahead.
That they were forced to be quiet for some years.
So he beat them so bad, they were left alone for years. King Arthur was crazy strong. Go ahead.
and never attempted during the prince's reign to advance further towards the Severn.
Yeah, the Severn.
Severn.
This
is the hero, and this the battle dang.
Oh God! I read it. Please,
I'll read it again.
Dang.
Where are we?
This is the hero. You did a good job. They start going off the horse.
It's all right. You'll be all right, man.
You got much time.
This is the hero, and this is the battle. For much celebrated by the so much celebrated by the pen of Taliesin and other ancient British poets. Hold just
who's
oh gosh, I can't.
This is the hero. This is the hero, and this is the battle. So much celebrated by the pen of Taliesin and other ancient British poets, whose just praises of Arthur and faithful account of his glorious achievements have been so clouded by the absurd and snap.
Damn.
Senseless fictions of later other stories. Oh gosh. The F is the S. Senseless fictions of later bards or romanticized stories and other romantic writers in their injudicious endeavors to embellish them, that not only his actions but his very being have been questioned because of the romanticized stories of him. This is what is said by Nemnius and Geoffrey of his birth and descent is evidently fabulous. There is no authority worthy of credit for there ever being such a man as Uther, meaning his father. There's no Uther Pendragon, who seems to have owed his creation to the name of his pretended son, for Uther, signifying wonderful or admirable, or Arthur, Art Uber, more wonderful to suppose that the name of Arthur was given him to show that he was greater than his father. So Arthur, or Art Uber, means he was magnificent, he was honorable. That's what it means. Arthur was magnificent or honorable. Okay? It says, so the Ubter signifying wonderful, so basically the word Uber and dragon, Uther, represents that Arthur was a greater man than his father. He was more wonderful, or honorable than his father. So that's why his father was given the name Uther or whatever. That's all romanticized. 5 minutes. That's all romanticized. That's not real. Uther. It sounds good. It's a little bit disappointing, but that he was huge and strong as hell and killing a lot of people. That's true. All right. Let's stop. We only got a few minutes left. I'm gonna stop there. I'll get to his father. Do I have time for his father? I don't have time for his father. I'll get to his father, Lord's will, next week, regarding who his father was and things of that nature. So, I'm gonna give shout outs to the breakfast team. Shout outs to the IT team. They did an excellent job. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for your contributions. And those of you who watched, you guests as well, the audience, thank you for watching, for tuning in. You can all tune in to Our Hidden History Radio. Subscribe to the actual channel on YouTube, Our Hidden History Radio. If you missed anything, you may have missed this show. You can always go back and watch it again, and the other episodes that prior to this one. What else? Yeah, I'm missing something. Anything else?
Yes. Thank you for watching the show. Like I said, if you want to donate to our Hidden History show, channel, you could donate to IUIC.NewJersey at IsraelUnite.org. Put in the description, Our History Radio show. Like I say, you can help us out, to Lord's will, to be able to purchase some of these books that are expensive. Right. In addition, if you'd like to donate to the Booster Club, you can donate to IUIC.fundraiser at IsraelUnite.org.
Right. I also apologize for not having y'all call in. Normally I have you call in. I'm going to get through this real fast. So Lord's will, next week, y'all can call in if you have any questions regarding this class or the one to follow. All right, regarding Arthur. So just stay tuned. All right. Shalom, most son, Christ bless. Thanks for watching. See y'all next week. Lord's will.
Shalom, most son, Christ bless. Shalom.
Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh, yeah.